Yeah, everybody, in the first segment of this episode of the Cooligans, we talk about the Dax Fruit Bowl saga being completed. It's a little sad, but there's a video out. Check it out. We talk about that. We also talk about Villa going to Spain, and we talk about, is Giovinco the greatest MLS signing in the history of MLS signings? Find out what we got to think about it.
In the second segment, we talk to Pablo Maurer. Pablo, he is a writer. He is a mechanic, but he's an all-around funny dude that covers soccer. He writes for DCist and Gothamist and just hilarious dude. And we talked to him about RFK. We talked to him about all the strange animals that are at RFK. And maybe they won't tear it down because these animals might be extinct.
In the third segment, we talk about rivalry week. We talk about how hard it is to say that. We also talk about a lot of those matches. We tell Dan Fouts where he can stick it. We start beef with NFL people. We do a lot in that last segment. And we have a special message for all of our fans in Atlanta and a huge, huge event. So make sure you listen to that third segment, regardless of how long it is. That and more on this episode of the Cooligans.
Hallo, hier ist Julian Gressel. Ich spiele bei Atlanta United und ihr hört die Cooligans.
Yeah, baby.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hola.
Hello. I love you do the old Seinfeld.
Hello.
Hello. La, la, la. I always hated that, but it's always so much fun to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of Seinfeld isms that that's how popular the show was, that they still like exist.
Right, they're still like, it's something you could still do now. And people are like, oh.
Yeah.
Like if you wore a puffy shirt, people would be like, puffy shirt.
Puffy shirt, you know? Is close talker.
Close talker is a big one. Am I a close talker?
No, you're not a close talker.
No, I don't. I try not to be.
Okay.
I try not to get anywhere near you. Now that I think about it.
What's the other one? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with that. You can't do that. You couldn't do that episode now. We could say that about a lot of TV that we grew up with, but you definitely could not do that one now. They'd be like, what do you mean? Not that there's anything wrong with it. Who suggested there was something wrong with it? No, I literally said there was nothing wrong with it. You probably shouldn't have written it that way.
Okay, well, I'm getting a petition to get the show shut down.
Right.
and this network, and to have you murdered.
Right. Yes, I'd like to speak to the producer because your show is not woke enough. And woke is something that's going to come back up.
Speaking of woke, yeah. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for watching. We're recording this so that people who are listening are like,
that's right. You're seeing our studio. It is not completely finished. In fact, check this out. We're going to be doing a unboxing video. Okay. Because Tropic Sounders and Cale Parker sent us a gift.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet, and that's
gonna be on our YouTube. Check it out. By the time you're listening to this, it's probably up. If not, keep looking.
Okay,
it'll be up there soon. But God knows what it could possibly be. They worked on it together. I told my wife, "Don't open that box. We're gonna do a video."
Sure.
And she said, "What is it?" And I said, "I don't know." And I said, "It's from Tropic Sounders and Cale Parker. They worked on it together." And she goes, It's probably a dill." That's all she said. It's probably a dill.
Not Adele.
No, it's a dill.
A dill.
Hello. Hello. Let me out of this box. Hello. No, it's a dill.
It's a dill.
And we ain't talking pickles, baby.
But thank you for listening, everybody. This is the Cooligans. My name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerreros.
And we're your favorite Gully comedians that host a soccer podcast.
The gulliest podcast.
That's right.
In the world. The gulliest soccer podcast in the world. We're also the funniest soccer podcast in the world. And because we busted shots with memes, dude. Yeah, we busted shots.
That was fun. That was a fun meme. Everybody knows the cheating meme or
what a disloyal man is the term, because I try to find like the original. It took a while.
Yeah, I mean, but I look at a meme like that and I'm like, well, what did she do to make him look in another direction?
It's clearly her fault.
She clearly made him stray.
It's not even what did she do. What didn't she do is now really the question.
That's a valid question as well.
Yeah,
these memes are a little bit more complex than we all think.
If your education came from Santo Domingo, you have a very different view of that. It's like a Rorschach test for Dominicans. Everyone else sees a horse. You're like, nah, clearly that's a brand new Honda Civic. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, it has horsepower. So, there was a meme that you had put up.
We worked on it together.
We worked on it together.
Because I had originally done it one way, and you were like, have you thought of this? And I was like, oh, that's not, oh, yes.
So it was, that disloyal man meme of him looking at another woman walking by while
I originally had the word you in there.
Yeah, that's right. So it would be.
And you had suggested GFOP.
Men
in
Blazers was the woman that was being
like, hey, stop looking at her.
Yeah, and then
and he was being disloyal to Men in Blazers by looking at
the hot woman in the red dress. Were the Cooligans.
That's right, baby.
and the guy whose eyes were wandering. His
or pulling a Polanco.
His name was GFOP.
That's right. So if you don't know what GFOP is, it's the Men in Blazers call their fans, I guess, great friends of the pod.
Yeah.
So we should come up with a shirt that says GFOP.
Should
or
we?
Former.
Oh, I thought you meant like FU.
Like, no. Former. Former GFOP.
Okay.
Thank you to all of our new listeners, man. We're looking at the numbers. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's climbing every single week. So thank you.
And if any of this has to do with the fact that you guys who currently listen and have always listened or have only listened for the last few, whatever it is, if you're telling other people about us, that means the absolute world to us. So take a little bit of a mental inventory. If you haven't done that in the last few weeks, do it again. Share it, share the pod, tell your friends, do whatever you can. It means the world to us. People sending us messages and leaving these amazing reviews about, hey, we saw you on this, or we heard you on that, or you said this about soccer, or some people saw us on stage, whatever it is. I can't explain to you how that makes us feel. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and feeling nice is, something we're not used to. So
that's why we do this, though.
Just more of that. That'd be cool.
It's got nothing to do with you. It's all about us.
Yeah, we always talk about, we get a lot of awesome iTunes reviews, and we could use some more of those because we have to catch up to some of the competition.
Catch up.
That's right. It's a deal, everybody.
Some ketchup on that deal. Is that what you're going to say?
Yes.
Oh, boy. God, I really don't want to open that box.
But we should start with at least letting people, letting the listeners know, if you haven't had the opportunity yet, go to our YouTube channel and watch the Dax video.
It's up. The saga has ended.
The conclusion. Oh, episode 6 or episode 9 or whatever.
Yeah, this was a long time coming. This one.
Yeah. So the video is up and we actually confront Dax and you see his response. We get to talk to him.
I mean, we talked to him. I wouldn't say we confront him. That seems.
I mean, we did. We held him. We pinned him to the ground.
Like, nah, son, you ain't going nowhere.
Answer these questions.
Yeah. Quit hugging me, Nemanja Nikolic, and help me hold him down.
Dax is trying to get away.
Come on.
Stop running from us, Dax. But we finally.
He keeps running box to box.
He's quite shifty.
Yeah.
We can't catch him.
God damn it.
Is this man greased up? We can't hold him down.
Is this man greased up? So stupid.
But yes, it is there, and it was fun. It was we edited the thing, and it's like a fun little documentary, and I think you're gonna enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoy it. I know we enjoyed what happened, and what it became. So, one of the reasons we did it so is our fans would stop, bothering him and his wife.
Yeah.
But also it's
a YouTube video / restraining order.
Yeah. And it's like, look, everybody relax. But it's also for us, it means the world to us that people gave a shit enough to comment on his wife's wedding photos. Thank you, Ty Yoder. You're the man. You're the absolute man. And by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're gonna find a way to put that bottle opener somewhere in here.
That's right. So there were a couple of great YouTube comments that I enjoyed.
Okay.
So I don't know who this guy is, but he's commented on our stuff before. His YouTube name is just bro. Just bro.
What up, bro?
What up, bro?
What up, bro?
But he did write, once we put the video up, he wrote, no joke, I could get fired right now for watching this at work, but this is the higher priority right now.
Yo, bro. Thank you. Thanks, bro. How did he get bro on YouTube? How did he get that name?
Can you put any name? Isn't it like a display name plus your...
maybe that's not his username. That's his display name.
Yeah, that's possible.
All right, that makes a lot more sense.
So, yeah. So thank you. Yeah, there were a lot of people that were genuinely like, I've been waiting for this for months now, and I'm so happy that it finally dropped.
The fact that it got concluded, people are like, really? You actually? And here's another thing. There's a little conspiracy going on out there. Conspiracy theory. Did you know this?
No, I didn't know this.
People think that we coaxed him into saying fruit bowl when we asked what was your favorite wedding gift.
Wow.
People think that we set that up ahead of time. We need to put that out there right now. That is fake news.
Fake
okay?
news.
That is fake news.
See, this is what happens when you succeed at all, even in
they try to take
even
you
a
down.
Small amount.
Just a little bit.
The haters will come out to try to throw some shade.
You start peeking your head out of the water a little bit, they pull you down by the ankles. This is it. That was not made up. That was 100% real.
That was totally him.
As soon as he saw me in that big old yellow jersey, he was like, oh, God damn it. They let them in here? I thought this was my safe space.
Yeah, I don't. I want everyone listening, I want you to be very clear how little we honestly believe Dax really cared for us, or had any real interest in kind of resolving this.
Yeah, no, we thought he knew and was like, but this was a chance to sort of get it all out in the open, and that's exactly what happened. It was great.
I think from once we spoke to him, this is what I felt from him, without a doubt, was please stop.
Put it to bed. It was like
he was
put it to bed.
He was annoyed but not angry, because we also
not angry,
but
he was like, can this be the period at the end of the sentence? Can this be it?
Yes, because I think we definitely try to convey that we were being facetious about everything. We were just joking around about how frustrated we were, but I think for his wife, I think this is what I noticed.
That's the issue.
It was like he saw us, and we reminded him of the arguments he had with his wife.
Yeah. She was like, they think I don't send thank yous out there, like your fans, and there's a podcast, and people are commenting on my goddamn wedding photo. Like that's what D would have me sending thank yous out digitally. Yeah. I would be mailing out gifts, apologizing to everyone. I would have to go absolutely very, very far to make sure everyone knew that's not D's fault. I'm so sorry. And I know what I'd have to do. Yeah. Oh man!
And that was you can sense that was clearly a thing that he had dealt with.
Oh yeah.
Even if because it's such a crazy thing.
Right.
That there's no precedent for it. He's never dealt with this before. No, so he's like, baby, this happened.
Why would he have ever dealt with this before? No, it's not. It was unprecedented that some stupid comedians sent him a wedding gift. And he was like, yeah, and honestly, the ball's on us to think we deserve a thank you before his family and everyone else. The ball's on us.
Exactly. So, and that was the joke.
Yeah.
And we hope that was clear.
Yeah.
And I think it was. I
believe you.
So when the initial moment when you had gone up to him and asked him the question, it was way more of a clear joke. I thought we didn't tell him anything. He didn't know. We were there.
There was no lead up to it.
And frankly, we actually did try to organize like a one-on-one with Dak.
Oh, we tried to even get like a conversation with his wife going.
Yeah, and
which sounded
we got rejected.
Sounded like we met her at a bar. I'm like, forget your husband.
We got rejected at every step of the way.
Oh boy, there was so many hurdles put up. I mean, thank God the people that work at the Chicago Fire do work for the government, because that wall would be built. Okay, because they build walls around Dax very quickly. But we have to also thank one very I'm not going to call her name out on the podcast so people don't bother her, but she was a fan of another podcast we were on where we mentioned this, and she very much tried to set this up behind the scenes. So salute to you. JG is all I'll say. Yeah,
exactly. So watch that, because it's a thing we're genuinely proud of. It took a lot to,
and we're not proud of much.
Yeah, we're not
proud of this.
We've accomplished very little.
Oh my God, we've done nothing. Yeah.
But we actually it went from a dumb joke, in early February,
yep,
to confronting this man about a dish essentially. And it was fun and silly, and thank you, Dax, for participating, even though you didn't really want to,
right.
but it was fun, and I think it was a fun and weird thing that can kind of live on forever. Of like, even I think 5 years from now, people are gonna be like, "Yo, remember when those two comedians sent Dax a fruit bowl for no damn reason?"
Or he'll be like a pundit 15 years from now, and they'll be like, "What was the weirdest thing that happened in your career?" And he'd be like, "Without a doubt, probably the fruit bowl." And you know what? If you watch the end of the video, a sandwich is referenced. We are following up on that.
That's right.
This sandwich will happen, so stay tuned to that. And by the way, you know I'm going to take that part very seriously.
Yeah, to Alexis, the sandwich was way more important than the fruit bowl.
Oh yeah, the fruit bowl means nothing to me,
without a doubt. So a lot of stuff going on in soccer this week, or the week that just passed. And I think probably the biggest news that took a lot of people by surprise after the fruit bowl video was David Villa
getting called up by Spain.
Crazy.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That is.
There's the answer.
Yeah, there's no way to spin that, right? Where I can't be like, but is it really?
Nuts. He's 35 years old. It's European soccer, right? If you're 35 and
let's start with the fact that they don't really have strikers. I know they have Alvaro Morata, but you see what he's doing at Chelsea.
Missing open headers.
I should say you see what he isn't doing at Chelsea. Torres is what, 33, 34?
And he's, let's remember what he did at Chelsea. It was a nightmare.
Jesus. If you're a Spanish person, don't go to Chelsea.
Just avoid
Cesc. What are you doing?
Diego Costa, but he's Brazilian.
Costa, yeah. Costa's
technically.
Not. And also, you see what he did. He's not playing. He wants to go back to Spain.
That's always a problem. What is it?
What is going on, Chelsea?
At Chelsea. But David Villa getting called up to the Spanish national team.
And the fans are going nuts. If you go on Twitter, they're posting like Throwback Thursday photos of him and Iniesta's like love affair, like the two of them on the field together holding hands and hugging and stuff.
Whoa.
It's like, well, you know what I mean. We might be sending out another fruit bowl.
Giving Yamil Assad and Tito Villalba a little run for their money.
Just a little bit.
Look, let's see how the OGs do bromance.
Watching the fans love it. I mean, the Spanish fans love having him back.
Yeah, I mean,
this isn't like, oh, he plays in the U.S. and no, everyone's really happy to have him back.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And so coincidentally, I have staying with my parents. There's a kid from Spain. He's from Valencia. He's one of my brother's friends. My brothers are a professional handball player.
Right. So
this kid, he plays handball in Spain, and my brother kind of just like showing him the ropes whenever he's here. And the first thing when he talked to me, he was like, "Hey, did you hear about Villa getting called back to Spain?"
Isn't that crazy?
He was like, "This is crazy."
Isn't that wild? Like this is big news for the MLS. This is big news for American soccer fans. This is big news for Spanish soccer fans. This is big news across the board. This might be we may look back at this and see that this was one of the most important moments in MLS history.
Yeah, this definitely is.
Granted, he's got to play and play well, but if he does,
yeah. Do you think he's actually going to play? That's one of the questions.
You know what? If he only goes in for 10 minutes and still scores a goal, this is big for us.
I mean, that would be huge. Definitely if he scored.
If he scored, it sends a message to Italy that they need Giovinco. They need to put Giovinco in there. It sends a message to everyone that MLS players are just as important and should be looked at just as much as anyone else. And, I always point to this, but remember when Josie Altidore was at AZ Alkmaar?
Yeah.
I think he scored like 32 goals that season. He came in, that was the best form he ever had for the men's national team. It's about confidence. It's better to play in a much more competitive league, but the MLS is not a sort of a cakewalk for David Villa, even though he's doing incredible. That's because he's an incredible player. It's a chance to if you're playing really well here, you should get a chance at the national team, regardless of who you are.
Yeah, there's no. I think the Villa can set some example to more foreign players that might be hesitant to come to MLS.
There you go.
Because they might, because they might get left out of their national team just because they play in the MLS. We know how, I forgot who the Italian manager is, but he's been very vocal about just not really respecting MLS.
Well, first Conte. Conte said he wouldn't take him, and now I want to say Allegri, but I know that's wrong. That's the coach of Juventus.
We do know that Spain is having a couple issues, up front. But
they're playing Italy next.
It's still Villa had to play exceptionally well to even be considered.
Yeah.
And the fact that he meets some standard where I forgot the managers. Lopetki.
Yeah.
So that he believes that he can contribute. It's just only a badge of honor for the MLS, because there were some people I was looking at. I was following the Spanish Twitter account.
Why would you do that?
Because it was a good decision, I think.
Don't look at negative news.
Well, that's the thing. So that's what I was looking for. I was looking for people being like, "Oh, he's coming from MLS. This is what a waste.
He's been retired for 3 years." Yeah,
and there really wasn't much of that. I think it was more difficult to find negative comments about MLS. I think people respect Villa that much, and they know he's Spain's top scorer. They give him the respect that he deserves. And at the very least, you would hope that him getting called in, maybe there's some people who think David Villa's not playing anymore. You know, they'd be like, "Oh,
that's quite possible."
Yeah, Villa's back? Where's he been?
Yeah.
Oh, let me watch some NYCFC. Let me watch MLS game. Oh, you know what?
Would you get him off the golf course? Yeah.
And then maybe that can lead a couple more Spanish fans into MLS and just at least being intrigued by it.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is going to be. I hate to use the term watershed because. We'll see what happens, but I think we will look back and say that was one of the most important moments. I think you'll look back and go like, all right, when Toronto FC first came in, right, because there was a lot of fans, that it sort of increased the supporter culture in MLS. David Villa, Giovinco coming in, David Beckham, the Cooligans. All the really most important parts,
milestones, all of them of equal importance.
One of those in particular, the Cooligans, cornerstone of the league. I think you'll see.
That's right.
If they were to stop hating us.
I can't wait for the 30 for 30.
Oh man,
the Cooligans 30 for 30.
The behind the music about how we split up. We had a scare with you physically. We thought you had appendicitis.
I thought I had appendicitis. I had a sharp pain in my stomach the day of the Mayweather fight.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about that for a moment, but. We
watched it together.
Felt like I got punched in the gut. No, I had this weird sharp pain like next to my belly button, and it was just like the most pain.
That's usually when I fart.
Yeah, you know what? That's what so it was just a sharp pain.
You can't fart,
and then it just went away.
Right.
So it was like 2 minutes of like agony, and then it was just like I feel totally fine. And then,
but that agony was bad enough that you called my wife, a registered nurse.
My girlfriend called your wife.
Right.
She was that nervous about it.
But I can hear you crying, "Bitch, call D."
Okay, who's the bitch?
Yeah.
Who are you calling? Are you calling?
No,
wait.
I was saying you called.
Are you saying that I would disrespect my woman like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but you would never disrespect.
Oh my God, no, never. I said I heard you in the background. Which, by the way, I meant to talk to you about this. Very disrespectful. You should not do that.
You should not talk as me saying mean stuff to you.
How dare you let me talk as you? The fans have no idea what's happening.
No, but yeah.
But D was like, "Do this. There's a couple things you can do to find out if it is appendicitis."
And it wasn't appendicitis. So and I was totally fine. And then I started thinking, I'm not a farter. I'm not a big fart guy.
What the hell does that mean?
Some people are gross, like farting people. Like
Stop pointing at me.
You're a person who's just like, you know what? Well, I'm alive, then therefore I fart.
Buddy, let it out. You could really mess up your sphincter if you don't let the farts out.
And that's kind of I'm not really a fart guy. I don't really fart around.
Your sphincter must be destroyed.
So that did cross my mind. I'm like, maybe there was a fart that I was holding in from like 8th grade.
Yeah.
That was finally like, you know what?
It smells like something you haven't eaten in years.
It's a Happy Meal from McDonald's.
I can smell the toy.
Did I eat the toy?
From Toy Story 2. What year did that come out?
Yeah. So I was just like, maybe it was just a fart from so long ago, from decades ago, that was like, you know what? We've had enough. We got to get out of here.
I had this one time where I just could not leave the apartment. I was like, I feel terrible. I'm coming down with something. I felt like I fatigued the whole 9. And D was like, maybe you just have to fart. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit on the toilet just in case. one long fart, and I felt amazing. I was like, I don't know what just happened. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I just farted the devil out. You know what I mean? Because I felt incredible. We went out for the whole day. It was great. Got to get those farts out, guys. I know that's why you listen to this podcast. You got to get it out.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
So what does this have to do with soccer or David Villa? We don't know.
It's all gonna lose at the end. It's gonna be an M. Night Shyamalan film at the end. It was the farts the entire time.
Or the twist is we don't know what we're doing. That's the twist at the end of this. But you knew it all along. It's the worst M. Night Shyamalan movie.
So speaking of Villa getting called up to Spain, it does beg the question. What is up with Giovinco? Why can't he get a call-up? And it seems like anytime before there's an international break, Giovinco plays out of his mind.
He turns it on.
What, he got 4 goals in 2 games or 3 goals in 2 games?
Did you see the goal against...
Every free kick. Just...
First of all, the keepers don't even move.
But they can't.
I mean, they're just like, wait, when did that get kicked?
He can go over the wall to either post. And that's really what makes him so dangerous. And just to have that ability.
Yeah.
That ability alone. Even if he just came in 4 free kicks for the Italian national team, there's a high probability he can get you about a goal per game, which is scary.
Even if you bring him in so that in case the game you're in is a draw, at the end, if there's penalties, you can use him as someone who takes a penalty. Think about it.
Sure.
He's better than Zaza Simone, who that ball still hasn't landed, okay?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I think, I'm willing to go out on a limb here. I think that Giovinco is more important to the MLS, more important of a signing to the MLS than anybody else. And that includes David Villa, and that includes David Beckham.
Importance? No.
And the effect that it will have on the league. And let me explain why.
Over Beckham? I mean, that's
over
tough.
Beckham.
Maybe we haven't seen what lasting effect Giovinco's going to have. I mean,
no, but we're already seeing it now. Look at the level of play. Look at the amount of other players that have come into this league at his below his level, because I think he is probably, I think we could say like he's the best all around player in the league right now. But I honestly think that when David Beckham came in, he validated the league a little bit. Giovinco, coming in his prime and as good of a player as he is, has validated the league even more to a certain level of players who are like, you know what? I could try to get on the field here, or I could go play 90 there.
Yeah, I would say he...
And that's going to raise the level of play.
I think Beckham raised the...
awareness of the league.
Without a doubt. From a marketing perspective, yes, yeah. Beckham did that.
But he was still a joke to a lot of people. I think Giovinco has been like, look, you can go there in your prime. You can try to get 10 minutes a match at Juventus, or you can go play 90 in Toronto. And if Giovinco gets called up to the national team, that will seal the deal for me. He will be the single most important player that has ever been signed in MLS history. And you have to thank MLSE with the Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment for making it happen. Absolutely incredible. They're the ones who own TFC.
Sure. I mean, it's difficult for me to I guess the word importance is the thing I'm hung up on, because
you have nothing to say that I'm wrong. Is that right?
No, I think he definitely gives it the validity of the quality of the league.
Right.
He raises the standard, and
but he came in his prime. We have to remember that.
Yeah,
he was a name. He wasn't a big name, but he was a name. People know Giovinco.
But he's not a household name. Most people don't know who Sebastian Giovinco is.
No, he's not a household name here, but he's not, Van Aanholt, who signed with LA Galaxy. People in his own country probably don't even know who he is. You know what I mean? Everyone knew who Giovinco was.
Yeah, all the Van Aanholts, all the Van Aanholt heads. Yo, hit us up.
Yeah.
Don't let
Van Aanholtaholics, Van Aanholics.
Don't let Alexis disrespect the which I think probably Van Aanholt is on the flag of whatever country he's from.
Of whatever country he's from. But all right, Giles Barnes signs. A lot of people didn't know who Giles Barnes is. You don't have to say Sebastian Giovinco. You just say Giovinco signed. Most people knew. If you're a soccer fan, most people knew who that was.
You know what? The other day, somebody I forgot who I was talking to. They were like, "Oh, isn't that Italian guy playing in MLS?" And I said, "Oh yeah, Giovinco." That's the first name that came to my mind.
Yeah, as opposed to Pirlo.
Yeah, and he meant Pirlo.
Of course.
so you see what I mean. That's the world we live in. You know, where the light years ahead in quality, especially this year.
Yeah, at this point in
this point in his career, is so much better, and it's just Pirlo. Pirlo is Pepsi. I mean, people know Pepsi.
Yeah, people know Pirlo. I was talking to a guy from Torino that works at a pizza shop. And he's from Torino. And I said, "Hey, Pirlo, Torino." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, Pirlo. And I was like, "Yeah, I met him." He goes, "No." He was like, "What was that like?" And I'm like, "I don't know. We kind of argued about pizza." I told him he didn't know anything about pizza. He's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to Pirlo? And I go, "Well, he's from Torino. You guys don't know anything about pizza." And the guy's like slapping the counter. And he's like, "What do you mean we don't know nothing about pizza?" And I'm like, "Well, come on, Torino." And he goes, "Okay, but it's Pirlo. Like, you don't have that argument with Pirlo." I'm like, "Buddy, I'll have that argument with whoever I want." I told him, I won't tell him how to play soccer. He doesn't tell me anything about pizza.
This guy that was from Torino, he makes pizza, and you told
he works at a pizza place. He's a waiter at a pizza place.
Oh, okay, all right. So
Yeah,
I thought it was the guy making pizza, and you're like, you don't know what you're doing. Buddy.
I mean, he probably wouldn't know because he's from Torino.
And there's no way you can learn about pizza if you're from there. That's just no matter what you do, no matter how much schooling, no matter how much old Italian grandpa who can pass down the recipe, you're from Torino, you're done.
Yeah.
Give up.
Well, there are no old Italian grandpas that have recipes for pizza in Torino because they don't have that culture.
Okay. Well, I mean,
if you knew as much as me, then I'd respect you, but you don't.
And that goes with any subject.
That goes with anything. If you knew as much or more than me, I got respect for you. Other than that, why don't you hush up, okay, Pirlo, and listen to this guy? I don't tell you anything about formations. I don't tell you anything about training. I'm certainly not going to tell you about training. Don't you dare tell me about what type of pizza is good or not.
Okay, I mean this. Look, you. Everyone listening to this podcast, if this is not your first time listening, you've definitely been threatened about pizza before. So you know about this. This is nothing new.
This is not new. Been here, done that.
So let's. There are some. The international break is coming up. There's a couple. There's 8 MLS teams that are still that are playing. But the U.S. is playing 2 matches over the next 10 days.
Costa Rica
and
probably being the toughest match I think we have coming up out of the next few.
Yeah, Costa Rica and then and Honduras. So those are the next 2. A lot of people from obviously a bunch of MLS clubs. Their players are going to be in these matches, but there is a. I mean, this is basically the issue. The U.S. wins these next 2, and they're pretty much in. They're going to Russia.
Yeah, we're good.
But there is that concern of over Costa Rica.
This is the toughest one, and we're playing in a stadium that they can easily fill, and we know that because we were there.
That's right.
They did a great job of getting people into Red Bull Arena. Mm-hmm. They have a big fan base here. But I'm hearing, or not hearing, it's true, that U.S. Soccer kept a large percentage of the tickets for private sale for American Outlaws and season ticket holders to the New York Red Bulls.
Okay. Yes. You try to get some home field advantage.
Do you think that's wrong?
Is it wrong? I mean, no, it's not wrong.
I think it's a little fucked up. That's what I wanted to say. I chose wrong. Don't hover around that word wrong.
It is you understand it. I mean, look, they want the advantage. I mean, look, how many times do when the U.S. plays in California? Is it basically against, it's a Mexican. It's a Mexican, yeah.
Even if Mexico's not playing, there's Mexican flags there.
just Mexico, just there to just make it difficult for the U.S.
Just cheering for French Guyana.
So, no, I have no real issue with it. It depends. I guess if I saw the numbers and they were like, it was 28,000 and we left about 46 tickets for the then I'd be like, all right, well then that's like a little.
But I think it should be okay to just give them like one of those little like away sections, like they would for an MLS match.
What's But then
let's say it's like 3,000 people.
You're fine with
3,000 Costa Rican fans only allowed.
Sure. I think the concern is the concern of that they may not sell enough tickets? Does that
No,
cross their
I don't
mind?
think. I don't know. It's the U.S. The U.S. travels well on the East Coast. No, I don't think that's the concern. I think the concern is that the Costa Rican fans would be much more aggressive about getting tickets.
Oh boy.
You know how those Ticos are. Bunch of goddamn Latinos coming in here. I don't know why anyone's got a southern accent in this scenario.
Yeah,
Build that wall.
That's
Costa Rica, guys.
That's how people from Harrison, New Jersey talk.
Come around these parts. This Harrison, New Jersey.
I gotta go take the path and go to my job in Midtown Manhattan.
How much is it to swipe a horse onto this thing y'all call the path? I don't know what accent that is. It's somebody.
No, I'm whatever. Like you
don't care?
I don't care. I mean, it's a fun environment regardless. I mean, how?
Let's say you said they only allow 500 Costa Rican fans. How would you feel? 500.
500? Oh, that's probably 500 too many. I'm kidding.
Let's ask the Colombians how they feel.
No, I'm fine. I don't know. Look, I don't know what the number is, but you understand what it's home field. You understand why they would do it. Obviously, American Outlaws. The U.S. is a slightly larger country than Costa Rica. We have like 30, 40 more people.
Yeah, but Costa Ricans view their national soccer team as their army. Like they're very passionate about following, their national team. Where I would say in America, but we're probably not as passionate as per capita. We have probably very passionate people, but per capita.
But that's what you have a home game for. When we play in Costa Rica, it's filled with a bunch of Costa Ricans. It's not 20,000 Americans.
No, because there's not that many Americans out there.
So that's
I guess what you're understanding, guys, if you don't know how to read between the lines, what Christian Polanco is saying is that we're letting too many immigrants into this country.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Clearly.
Yeah. Clearly.
And please
with no equivocation.
Remove my immigrant parents because I have to stick with my beliefs. And I made this statement on a podcast. And once they're deporting my mother, I will say, but Mom, I made a joke on a podcast, and
so it's now letter of the law.
I gotta live and die by my word. You're gonna ruin my reputation over your citizenship status.
This is it, just because you want to live in this country.
Wow, making it about you, Mom. Typical.
First of all, integrity on the line, and two, it was said, therefore it shall be done.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, did you not teach me to stick to your word?
Parents don't just understand. As the scholar William Smith said at one point.
Just years before he got jiggy with it, he let us know. Just before his trip to Miami, he let us know that parents don't understand.
And it was quite a expedition that he took to the Wild Wild West.
Yes, it was.
That was pretty impressive.
Let me tell you something. He really enjoys his summertime. I think we've reached the bottom of that. Right after summertime, he likes to boom, boom, shake the room. That's it. I can't think of anything else.
Oh my God. Anyway.
That's it. If you can think of anything else,
please
comment right now, tweet, whatever you want to do.
So the U.S. We're hoping they leave with 6 points out of here and have booked their trip.
Wait, that's what we were talking about?
That's how we got here.
Wow. If it wasn't for you, man, we would be all over I'd be like, what were we talking about again? If anybody wants to know what that's like, just listen to my old podcast.
Yeah.
It was me by myself. And I was like, wait, how did I get here?
Alexis has the memory of a goldfish.
Yeah. Oh, boy, do I. And want to be fed like one. Just throw it in. Throw it in my room. I'll find it.
Yeah. If you, I was like, don't overfeed because he will not stop.
Yeah, no.
And we will die.
Yeah. And I'm not like one of those fighting fish. I'm just like, let's all hang out. Everybody relax. Just don't tell me about pizza.
So that's we should get into our next segment because
we have a great interview.
We have a great interview with Pablo Maurer, and he some people will recognize him definitely from Twitter. He's just a really funny dude. He's a writer, and he's a mechanic. He
writes for DCist. He
writes for Gothamist.
Yeah, he writes for Gothamist.
So, but he's been covering MLS for a long time.
Yeah,
and he lives in the DC area, so that's so we talk a lot about like RFK. We have a lot of, but he's the main thing, and the reason
Actually, how do you know what we talk about? Because we haven't done the interview yet. It's coming up right after this.
The main thing, the main reason we wanted to get him on the show was because he's hilarious. He's just a funny dude.
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
And when it comes
not a comic, just a funny dude.
Yeah, and when it comes to in the soccer world, these are the people that we want to get on
absolutely
on the show. So we had a great conversation with him, or we're about to, as Alexis would say.
That's right. So, I wonder what we're going to talk about.
Who knows? So let's get to it. This is our conversation with Pablo Maurer.
We'll get to that right after this.
Hey guys, Christian here. Quick break. I just want to let you guys know about something called Vocal Threads. Vocal Threads is a company that we are working with, and they make scarves. They are passionate soccer fans, so they make soccer scarves.
But it's not for a team.
Yeah, it's not for a team. It's for a for a bigger cause.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So they have a couple cool scarves, like one that says "Resist," and then on the other side of it says "Love Trumps Hate."
Yeah, and they have the other one, which is "Immigrants Make America Great," and on the other side it says "Unidos Somos Más," which is really cool. United, we are more.
Exactly. So this is a really cool, just very, very symbolic, and kind of speaking to where we are currently as a nation. But instead
of just showing support for a club, you're showing support for a cause, just love and people being together and not hating each other. Which
and
is nice.
And it's not just all talk. The 25% of the proceeds from each scarf
come to us, right?
Come to us. No, they don't come to us, which would be very strange. Right? Don't donate to
us.
We're doing great work, and we're really
Cooligans Trump hate,
helping heal the world.
No, 25% goes to the ACLU. Another really cool.
Either the ACLU, depending on which scarf you purchase, it can either go to ACLU or KIND, which is the Kids in Need of Defense, which is a nonprofit and an organization that helps refugee children, with education and just other things that are necessary when you are refugees. To it can be a tough life. So go to shopvocalthreads.com and pick up a scarf. You will be helping yourself. You will be helping good people across the world. So make sure you do that. So go to shopvocalthreads.com.
Yeah, baby, we're back.
We're back. Oh, man.
This is it. We always talk about, that we're the funniest people in soccer, and we are. I mean, that's, without a doubt.
Yeah, people get annoyed that we're really pretty arrogant.
Yeah, I mean, but arrogant, I shouldn't count as arrogant when you're right. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's just when you're just stating the truth.
Yeah, and we're always right. But, we're not the only people that are funny in soccer. So we try to bring you some of the funniest people in soccer. We've had some great guests that have incredible personalities. And this is one we've been trying to get on the podcast for a hot minute, or at least we've been talking about getting on the podcast for a hot minute. If you have followed DC United ever, you might have heard of this guy. The MLSist is his
Twitter
handle. And first name is Pablo, so we like him already. That's all it takes, ladies and gentlemen. Unless you're driving, put your hands together for the one, the only Pablo Maurer, everybody.
Hey, Pablo.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up?
Thanks so much for being on the show. Yeah, we were talking about just you being one of the funnier voices when it comes to talking about soccer on the internet. I know and
American soccer at that.
Yeah, when I started really paying attention to MLS, I used to go to games very casually, but when I went, I would say about 3 years ago, when I really started focusing and actually engaging with the community, you were like one of those people. I'm like, this guy's always popping up. Getting a lot of retweets, some funny stuff over here. What's this guy doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's I guess like anything else in life, if you're not going to laugh at it, why is it even worth doing? And there's obviously a lot to laugh at with MLS. So I think if I took it too seriously, I might not be a fan. So
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, just try and sort of go with the flow.
What is your relationship to MLS? Is it the only league that you follow? Do you have any other soccer leagues that you're a fan of?
Half my family's Spanish, and I grew up in Spain, lived there for a number of years, and so I follow La Liga. I'm an Atletico fan. But as far as, I don't follow any of the other European leagues. I really only watch MLS. I mean, a lot of that has to do with just that time commitment. I wish I had time to watch more soccer, but honestly, I'm just one of those people that, given the choice between, I guess, what you could call a superior product abroad and something that's inferior but local, I'm just going to watch the soccer that's in my backyard, So really, that's I've always just watched MLS. I think I lived in Spain right before the World Cup in '94. Came back to the U.S. Was just super excited that there was a league at all. Starting in '96. So I've sort of been following MLS since day one, I guess.
Wow. Well, we hope that people feel the same way you do about leagues as comedians. For us, the inferior product directly in front of you, as opposed to traveling to find a much more superior product.
Exactly.
Where did is the voice that we now know of the, at MLSist, is that sort of is that a character you put on? Is that just how you've always been? Because it's not necessarily like extremely sarcastic, but it's somewhat irreverent, somewhat sarcastic. And it's sort of fun for us to sort of see your response. And I think the fans clearly love it because they're retweeting it a lot more than ours, which is kind of upsetting, but they love it a lot.
It's really just me. I started covering MLS probably in 2010, and was writing for a local site here in DC that I still write for, occasionally, DCist, and sort of just decided that maybe it was a good idea to have some sort of a persona, As far as what I tweet, it's just me, but the name, it's just sort of a mashup of the league's name and the site that I was writing for. And, at this point, I'm just terrified to change it because I might lose 4 followers, which would be, devastating.
That'd be it sounds like it's a nightmare.
My entire life at this point is based on, social capital or whatever you want to say. So I can't handle the thought of losing a single follower,
Buddy, Cloud Score rules all at this point. Yeah.
Exactly. I haven't even checked my Cloud Score in probably 6 months because I'm too terrified.
You are speaking directly to our hearts.
Yeah. You sure you're not a comedian?
Because
everybody here is incredibly vain. I think we're all the same.
Yeah. Why else would we be focusing so much on what we believe about the league that other people are playing in?
Exactly.
And it is, speaking of that exact thing, you had just gotten a tweet that went viral. Your Mayweather McGregor tweet that was hot. That was a hot one.
Stratospheric.
I'm surprised. Are you calling us from the private jet?
Yeah, exactly. I was hoping I would hit 100,000. For no good reason, just because. Yeah, that's. I think tweets like that people gravitate. They're very easily relatable. Everybody hates the bartender in the vest with the bow tie. Yeah. Everybody hates craft cocktails. Unless you like craft cocktails, then I'm sorry, don't unfollow me, please.
No, then everybody hates you if you like that stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're in Brooklyn, so we know exactly what you're talking about.
Are you kidding me? We're sitting on the train with these people. What now?
It's funny the way the internet works, though, because a lot of people like that tweet, and then a bunch of people called me a racist, and I hadn't even thought of it. I think they thought that I was suggesting that because McGregor's Irish, there were these 3 dudes giving him alcohol, right? It'd be like a horrible stereotype about Irish people. And at no point did that thought cross my mind.
It did not me neither. That was
exactly.
I certainly didn't think of it.
There's always somebody on the internet who's
more woke than we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're supremely woke.
Right.
Do you? You're a fan of DC. Right, DC has had some great years. This one's not one of them. What does this mean for you? Is this old hat at this point? Are you super thankful there is no relegation?
I'm not really a DC fan. I think that's a common misperception. I think probably when I first moved to DC, I started watching the team, obviously, because they're, my local, if you will. When I started covering the team, I had to sort of divorce myself from any sympathies that I had towards DC to do a good job. And then I think, and this is just my experience, but when you cover MLS, and I'm sure this goes for a lot of other areas in life, so it's sort of like when you see how the sausage is made, you don't want to eat it anymore. You know what I mean? So
Not true for me, by the way.
Yeah, not for Alexis.
Yeah, no.
He'll
Really?
eat any sauce.
Oh my God, buddy! If I saw somebody's hand go in there, I'd be like, "Oh, we'll taste it. Let's see what happens."
That could be delicious.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know.
Oh my God! You know what? He had fat on his hand, so more flavor.
Yeah. I'd say if I'm a fan of any team, it's probably NYCFC, and that's just because I'm a David Villa fanboy.
Boy,
as far as
España,
DC goes, yeah, it is difficult to watch sometimes. It was also sort of predictable. I mean, they've used the same formula for the past 5 or 6 years of just sort of plugging in, guys who are either past their prime or quote unquote have something to prove. These teams that are led by Ben Olsen, aren't particularly tactically brilliant in any way. So the thing is, it is MLS, and it doesn't take much to make the playoffs. So I think in previous years, they've just sort of had a good run of form and gotten some good breaks, and hey, what do you know? You're in third place. The problem is then, with that same formula, you can easily just, with a few injuries and some guys who are, falling off. You look at someone like Marcel Sarvis or Bobby Boswell. These are guys who just started to tail off. Then you can have not just a bad year, but like a catastrophically bad year. I mean, since I've been covering them, this is the third. They had a 2011 that was 2010 that was a terrible, 2013 that was historically bad, and then now this, which has been almost as bad, but at least entertaining. I mean, they won 2 games in a row on own goals.
Yeah, I think isn't own goal the second highest scorer on the team?
Yeah, he's right behind Luciano Acosta. So
that's hilarious.
Own goal gets the golden boot this year.
Yeah,
yeah.
Technically, Michael Parkhurst of Atlanta United is one of the top scorers.
God, can you imagine 2 own goals in the same year? Unbelievable. And from a very solid, Michael Parkhurst is nothing to sneeze at. Obviously, he's an all-time great U.S. defender, but that's pretty rough.
Yeah, I think you're the first team to win 2 games on an own goal only, right?
That's exactly 1-0 on own goals.
Or DC is, because I forgot you're not a fan, so we can't say that you are DC.
Yeah. I mean, whatever, it's fine. I mean, I think I don't know. I mean, I do think obviously there's hope. They've just signed like 35 players, including Paul Arriola, this other U.S. Russell Canoes, who looks like a really good pickup for them, has been playing well the past couple of days, and I think there's definitely and then I guess this Hungarian guy Zoltán Stieber, who, I mean, I guess they couldn't afford Zlatan, so maybe they just, went with, dare to Zoltan.
Yeah.
Sort of
they went with the generic brand, Zlatan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the home brand.
It's a pony Walkman. Yeah. It's the same thing as Stony Guts.
Right.
It's the same shit.
They were in the transfer market. They're like, yo, this one's 2 for $1. If we use our card, we get 30% off on the third one.
Right. They went to the store. The one store they went to didn't take TAM.
Right.
They go to the other store,
It's all I got, baby. It's all I got.
Yeah,
come on.
Exactly. Yeah.
As you live in the DC area, though, right?
I live in DC. I've lived in Columbia Heights, which is a neighborhood around here. I've lived there for 11 years. So yeah, I'm not a DC native, but I've been here longer than probably 90% of people in DC.
Yeah, for sure. You can't get voted out. You're one of the few people that can't get voted out of the town.
Exactly.
What does it mean? Because you started following MLS during probably its most difficult year. 2010 was when they contracted, or right after they contracted, right?
A few years afterwards, yeah.
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 And, sort of 2010 was always like, I remember sort of 2013, 2014 is where the league started to sort of pick up momentum again, and everything started to look a little better. But one of the things that has lasted from MLS 1.0, the only thing that has lasted up until this point is RFK.
Yeah,
and local, and no one is excited about RFK, but it's going away. This is its last year, right?
It is. It's bittersweet for a lot of us. I think. I'm still not even convinced that the new stadium. I mean, I saw a photograph of like some construction the other day at Audi Field, which is the new home, and there were some stands going up, and I was just like, hologram. It's a hologram.
Like Tupac's gonna come out any moment.
Yeah. But it is bittersweet because a lot of us.
I didn't know you were a stadium truther.
Yeah. Exactly.
What about stand 7, man?
Right. Completely. It's hard to see the field through all the chemtrails.
Yeah. The stadium is an inside job.
Right. It is bittersweet just because a lot of us have an attachment to RFK in the same way you're attached to sort of a beat up old car, and it is a truly underappreciated place in American soccer. I mean, there's more soccer history at RFK than any other stadium. People talk about Crew Stadium a lot, or I guess StubHub Center too. The U.S. has played more at RFK anywhere else, and you go further back to the old NASL and the ASL, and Pelé I think made his American debut at RFK. When he still played for Santos or Brazil. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. I mean, you sort of appreciate that, and it's sort of the last of these cookie cutter stadiums from the 50s and 60s that are so scorned, and people talk so much smack about them, but there's something strangely beautiful about RFK. It's sort of sloping roof line that has it's kind of like the older it's gotten, the more, and I mean, I guess you're talking to somebody who does a lot of photography of abandoned places, so I have an affection for kind of places that look aged and sort of rustic. I don't know. I'm going to miss it, man. I am. Even though I've seen unspeakable things there.
Isn't there a tree growing out of it?
No, you know what it is? I'll give you the full breakdown here of like wildlife at RFK.
Yeah, no, raccoon is the most famous thing, right?
Yeah, but that's like, I mean, come on, man. That's
child's play.
I've seen animals that don't even belong in that, like
in that ecosystem.
Exactly, completely. So the trees, what happens is birds will fly over the stadium and they drop seed and they land in the upper deck, right? And the seeds land on the upper deck, and the upper deck gets used maybe once a year. Whenever Honduras or El Salvador plays there, they sort of fill the upper deck, and like weeds and trees will grow in the upper deck. This is not a joke, like
amazing.
They let people sit there
occasionally. I went to a Honduras El Salvador friendly there once, and I went with my friend Seth, and we sat in the upper deck, and it was like I had to sit in 4 or 5 different seats before I found one that wasn't just completely shattered apart. The strangest animals. So I've seen, I mean, all kinds of. There's a basically a colony of feral cats that live under the far sideline. Not a joke. There's like 8 or 9 stray cats that live there. One of them, this is a rarely known RFK fact, got its head caught in the netting of like a practice goal, and they did rescue it, and it was adopted. I think the person named it like RFK or something like that. The weirdest animal I've ever found at RFK is there was a rash of fish there, like just dead fish in the stands. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's not a situation.
It's a scary movie. It's a stadium.
Completely. Just walking around, I look down at my feet, and I'm like, "What the? What?"
Yeah.
So basically, there's migratory seabirds that like they fish in the Anacostia, and then they will just fly over the stadium and be like, "Whoops," and drop the fish. So then it just ends up in the stands. But. It's, it just all sort of like too perfect, And then, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago we had this torrential rains that ended, to a game being postponed actually. And it was just like, there's no drainage in the stadium. So, the baseball players, everyone basically looked like some sort of whitewater rafting course, like all the concourses, it's just insane,
God, here's the thing. And why we asked is there's a possibility that we can go for the final match in October. Do you think it's...
you got to go.
Neither of us have ever been. Do you think we need to go?
You got to go. And I mean, it's as much because it's I mean, you're not going to enjoy yourself as far as... you know what I mean? It's not like... It's more because you can sit in the stands and watch a game and think to yourself, Johan Cruyff played here, or you think about important qualifiers the U.S. played there. There's so much soccer history, and it is something that's frequently said. People say that about places. They're like, there's so much history here, but there is actual value in that. It's not just something that should be said. It's like, to me, RFK genuinely should be on the list of like American soccer pilgrimages. Like it would be like RFK, and then it would be like that water fountain that Landon Donovan took that photograph at.
Right, the real sexy water.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Maybe just every location in that sexy photo shoot.
Yeah.
The field at Bethlehem Steel. There's like a lot of sort of, but RFK is, it'll be around probably for 3 or 4 more years after United stops using it. But if this is possibly going to be your only chance to come see a game at RFK, I would absolutely do it.
Yeah, it sounds like a place where you can like bring your children and be like, hey, this
if you want one of them to go missing.
If you want your child to get crushed by a piece of falling concrete, bring your children. But
it could just be like one of those, this is where I saw a raccoon defeat a cobra.
Right here, kid. In fact, you're sitting next to its carcass.
A land roving fish, young boy. This is where we go to see it.
This fish was wearing a Washington Redskins cap. I swear.
I've never
about 20 years.
I've never heard someone talk about a stadium and have to explain so much about birds dropping things as to why there's a new topography.
To write the history of wildlife at RFK, I mean, it would be reams and reams of paper.
I like when you and knowing now how long you've been covering MLS. One thing I really like about, especially the things that you tweet, is that you do tend to tweet about past moments, so little like throwback Thursday kind of things. And I remember one of the things you tweeted was about you were arguing with somebody about promotion relegation, which I also enjoy when you argue with people because it's very entertaining. But you were talking about somebody making the claim like that these games without promotion relegation, the latter games in the season don't really matter, and that you had brought this up with, I think, Dwayne De Rosario. Is that that you were talking to him about it, and he got very upset with you when you said, hey, how do you feel about these games given that they don't really matter?
Yeah, you have moments like that, I think, as a journalist sometimes where you get on cruise control and sort of don't necessarily think that much about the questions you're asking. And in 2013. Towards the end of 2013, I mean, I was like borderline suicidal at this point. I mean, it's just like, it can't be understated or overstated how miserable of an experience that whole year was. It was just like everybody in the stadium the fans were miserable, the players were miserable. It was like the walls were miserable. So, I guess just was there probably just doing some random hit for MLS or something.
The cats were miserable.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Cats were crying. So anyways, I asked him, I said, it's got to be hard to stay up for these games later in the year that don't really mean anything. And he just looked at me and he said, to you, they don't mean anything. And then I was like, I'm sorry, I probably phrased that question sort of poorly. He just said, yeah, you did, and he left. And, I really do respect that, though. I do respect that because you remember that it's like, this is something people forget about pro athletes, and it's actually something people say about older guys who come to MLS a lot. They're like, they're just coming here to retire and not, really try. And it's like, what they don't understand is like, they got to a certain point in their careers by basically being incapable of not caring about any game they play in. So
right.
It's not like in I don't know, a WV or even like somebody like Steven Gerrard. It's not really in their DNA to just be like, well, I'm here now, so I don't care.
Right. Their cars don't come with cruise control.
Yeah, they're competitors.
Exactly. I mean, Pirlo maybe. Pirlo is just like...
Buddy, he's been cruise control for a long time, though. We knew what we were getting.
He is somebody who I idolized. He's one of my all-time favorite players, but it is undeniable that the guy just does not give whatever you want to say about... I mean, it's painful to watch him on the field. Thankfully, I don't really have to watch him on the field anymore because he never plays anymore. But
right. And you can curse on this podcast. Please feel free.
Yeah, I never know.
No, please, God. I mean, we said we were two comedians. You think we take any of this seriously? The question you asked Dwayne Rosario, you could ask us. We won't get upset.
Yeah, I mean, I work as a mechanic for a living. So basically, you work in a shop and it's a warped reality where there's no censor. Nobody gets offended at anything. So
oh, yeah, we know it.
Sometimes it's difficult to not use obscenities, I guess.
My wife has to tell me multiple times, you're not amongst comedians. These are my friends.
Exactly.
Because I'm like, what do you broads want to do later? I'm just messing with you. Right. And they're like, yeah, you can't talk that way. This one's a nurse. She doesn't talk this way.
These people are real human beings.
Yeah, they're heroes. Stop talking to them like they're idiots. What's next for you? I know you're a mechanic. Did you ever try to just work in soccer? Is that something that you thought about?
I did it for like a year. I didn't do it entirely, but I scaled back my work at the shop and basically mostly wrote and shot photos. And at the end of the year, just sort of decided that I didn't want to take the pay cut and it wasn't worth it. I think you actually see a lot of soccer journalists kind of getting out of the game. I think Will Parchman, who's a guy who I like reading a lot, he wrote something really good a couple of weeks ago that I think a lot of us he decided to stop basically writing almost entirely and wrote a medium piece on why he did it. And
he decided to quit writing by writing a very long piece, which is yeah. We read it. It was very powerful.
Exactly. And to me, it just came down to, you don't get paid shit basically. And, sort of, I think this goes for writing and shooting photos in general, although I'll exempt, for example, DCist and Gothamist, the two outlets I write for the most, they're great to work with and they pay very quickly. That's not the case in general. Most outlets, it's like they want something on deadline and then you invoice for it and you get paid 3 months later. And that's just not something that, I really felt like dealing with anymore. It was just sort of, it's especially irritating when, like I said, you're filing a gamer at the whistle. You're being that prompt, and then people don't have the courtesy to pay you on time. That more than anything for me I was just like, I don't want to deal with this, And then there is just, especially with MLS and the clubs and stuff, there's just politics that you deal with and people's feelings and whatnot. And I just honestly got tired of it, So I still write. I'll write here and there, I do photo stuff still, but as far as being a full-time soccer journalist, man, I'll leave that to the pros.
Yeah, well, and that it raises that question of like,
why are we doing this? Was that you? Because I was thinking that while he was talking.
Partially, I do think about that, even from our perspective. I mean,
because comedians don't get paid shit, and neither do podcasters, neither do people with YouTube channels, and we're doing all three.
Yeah. I mean, there is something to be said, obviously, for doing something just because you love doing it. And if that's like, if it's worthwhile to do that for you or anybody else, I know a lot of guys, for example, who write for fan blogs, like for SB Nation, they don't get paid and they don't really care, and that's totally fine. It's just not how I operate. I mean, I guess I got to the point again where I just didn't, the costs outweighed the gain as far as writing and shooting photos and stuff like that as far as soccer goes.
Yeah, that does make sense.
What? I also was just like not enjoying soccer anymore, which I hated. I just went to the New York Derby. I went to on Friday and I shot the first half of it for a blog. And then the second half, I just went up into the stands and sat with my brother who lives up there. And I just thought to myself, man, it's so nice just to watch a soccer game and actually sort of not resent the soccer game.
Yeah.
So
not focus on the agents on the sideline that you hate and shit.
No,
yeah, exactly.
It is interesting and the similarity to comedy, because even we know a lot of comedians, they've been doing it 10, 15 years, and they are difficult to be around. They like it's weird when you start hating the thing that you initially loved.
Of course.
And just like we've been doing this 2 years, and in any kind of professional capacity, but we're actually trying to we're watching games, we're covering things, we're trying to develop an opinion and then also a humorous one. And there is that. And I'm speaking for myself. I don't know about how Alexis feels.
I'll let you know.
But there is that thing of am I going to get bored with this, or am I going to get frustrated with this and this industry? Because that's almost any kind of if you're writing, if you're in any kind of entertainment aspect of any field, there is that frustration that's almost always looming.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. You are so not necessarily a fan of DC. I mean, do you see, but it's something that you cover most. Do you see next year being any different? Do you think the coach is sticking around?
Well, I mean, Ben is not going anywhere. And in a way, I understand why. I mean, I think he's never been given a ton of tools to work with, and I think that he has squeezed a lot of juice out of a very small piece of fruit. So there's something to be said for the fact that this year is horrible, but I mean, for the lion's share of the seasons he's been at DC, he's made the playoffs, which tends to be like the metric for success, league wide. Next year, I certainly see being better. I mean, I think this year, it's good that they made so many moves mid-year this year, because basically they have the next several months to sort of throw away and experiment, and sort of build chemistry. Next year, between the pieces that they've added and the fact that they're going to be playing in a brand new facility, probably in front of capacity crowds, I do expect bigger things from them. I mean, it's a long-term project though, so I don't, it'd be tough to sort of predict how they'll do. But I mean, I'd be pretty shocked if they didn't make the playoffs next year. That's just my opinion.
If they didn't make the playoffs, okay, yeah, I'd be shocked if they did. Right? Yeah, the opposite.
Just based on the way they're playing this year, I think we'd all be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but they've over, and they're going to make more moves in the offseason as well. I think the club has always said it's like they didn't have any income stream at all at RFK. I mean, the club's just hemorrhaging money. So I don't think the owners, now that obviously they have, they will, I'm assuming, turn a profit in a new facility. I think they're more inclined to spend money on players, more inclined to make those sort of investments. And don't forget, I mean, MLS is a league where we talk about 2013, where DC literally set the record for the worst team ever, and they damn near won the league in 2014. So it's a league where turnarounds like that are not unheard of. So I don't think it's overly, optimistic to expect them to make the playoffs next year. Just, but that's just my uneducated opinion again. So, I mean, none of us know what we're talking about. So.
I know I don't, which is why we ask as opposed to tell,
right.
Unless you listen to the other segments. Where can people follow you?
They can follow me on Twitter, I guess, at MLSist. It's an incredibly stupid Twitter handle, but we've already been over this. I'm too deep in this game to change it now. So
keep it, man.
It's perfect. Yeah. And what you mentioned, your photography. Where can people see that?
Gothamist, DCist, just my Twitter, wherever. I don't know. Just keep an eye out. You'll find it eventually.
Definitely, yeah.
Very positive way to look at it.
No, I love.
I'm not good at promoting myself, man. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Let us do it for you.
You'll probably find me at the bar too. It might be easier to do that.
No, I appreciate your candor, and you're just a real dude. And what I appreciate is like a lot of our comedian friends, you have the same ability to be self-deprecating and hate yourself, just like we do.
Right, exactly.
Master level.
Cut from the same cloth.
Self-hatred plus 10, whatever you want to say. I don't know. Yeah.
So if we decide to come down in DC, we'd love to meet up. Maybe we'll do a video or something, have you on. Maybe you could take a look at my 2010 Jeep Liberty and figure out why it only gets 12 miles per gallon.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, it's the worst. It gets 9 in the city. 9.
I can't have a conversation with anybody without this happening. I literally, if my phone rings and it's a phone number, it's like a person I haven't talked to in like 3 years, right? Maybe I used to be friends with them. I will sometimes answer the phone by just saying, "What's wrong with your car?" Because it's just like, it's so predictable. I'm not going to work on your fucking car.
No, I don't know. Just tell me what's wrong with it. You don't have to look at it. Is it just the fact that it's
what's
a Jeep?
wrong with it? I don't even have to. It's a Jeep Liberty.
Yeah. We got a good deal on it.
Complete,
Yeah. We got a good deal on it.
I hope they're paying you.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I said the same thing after a week of driving. I'm like, they should be paying us. This is like having our car note this thing.
Yeah, where you got the dealership like, oh, $379 a month. You're like, oh, that's weird. That's are you going to put that in my bank account? Or
yeah. Dude, 9 miles per gallon. It's the worst. Well, anyway, we'll come down. We'll hang out. Maybe you could show us around RFK, and we won't talk about cars whatsoever.
It's interesting because my father's a mechanic as well. And
also won't answer my calls.
But when we don't really have the best relationship. So, but whenever I do call him, it's that exact thing. It's like, it's always something car related.
Yeah.
That is literally the only thing that bonds us. It has nothing to do with blood.
This got really dark unexpectedly.
Yeah. It's something.
My dad's a mechanic and he hates me.
Yeah. And, Buddy, this side doesn't get any better. I don't have a dad. So listen, I know, right? You want this ship to go down? We'll go down.
God. Better get off the phone.
Yeah. Listen, it was an absolute blast talking to you. Guys, make sure you check out at MLSIST for everything Pablo's got to say. And check out, we retweet him all the time.
Pablo's great. So keep in touch with him. He's a hilarious dude. And he has a wealth of information to offer when it comes to MLS. Sincerely, it's great.
Yeah. And so thanks for being on, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I'll take it easy.
All right. We'll be right back after this, guys. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to our podcast. Quick break. We want to tell you guys, especially if you live in Atlanta, about a special event we got going down in Atlanta on September 28th. It's going to be amazing. We are getting the chance to open up a comedy festival with a live podcast. Oh man, I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, me too, Alexis.
Oh wow, I can hear it in your voice. Well, this is a huge honor for at least one of us. And one of the coolest things is it's not just going to be us. We're going to have real special guests. We're going to have people that you may be cheering for every weekend. We don't know. We're not ready to tell you who.
A lot of surprises.
Yeah, but there's going to be awesome. And there's going to be a lot of stuff to do, and it's going to be an absolute honor for us to be a part of this. It is a soccer comedy podcast at a comedy festival. There's never been done. Literally never been done. So come to the first event of its kind at the Red Clay Comedy Festival, and it's going to be insane. So September 28th. All the details will be available very, very shortly. Just make sure you get on our email list. Go to soccercooligans.com and get on our email list. You'll see an option right at the bottom, or it should pop up right at your screen. Put your email in there, and you will be the first to know how you can get tickets to the Cooligans in Atlanta live podcast. And we're letting you know now, the seating is very limited, so be a part of that email so you can make sure you get in and be a part of the first of its kind. We're actually opening a comedy festival with a comedic soccer podcast. Can this work? We're about to find out, Atlanta. Put yourself on that email list and be there. Yeah, baby.
That was fun.
Oh, come on. What a great interview.
Pablo's awesome.
He's just one of those dudes that just like has a great personality, and we talk about this all the time. Like, the comedians are the funniest. There's people that are funny that, haven't dedicated their lives to making no money and pissing off their family members. And that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, I envy those people.
I don't, but I'm happy they're there. I'm happy that there's been someone who's, there to sort of lighten the mood a bit when it comes to DC United Soccer and MLS in general, So, we're happy to, finally have him on the show.
But there is a and the reason I like following Pablo is because there is a sense of, especially the league is so young that there are people who've been covering the league 8 years are like very quickly become these historians.
Yeah, they're OGs. They've been around for so long that they're like, let me tell you what it was like back in my day, it's 4 years ago.
It's like, Grandpa, you're not even that old. Why are you talking like that?
Also, I'm not your grandson. Why do you make me call you Grandpa? But that's, the thing is like now the league is sort of bringing in many more fans. We're a symptom of that, Sure. New market, new team, new fans. We decided to start, a podcast and a YouTube channel and the whole nine. We're bringing in more people. So we look to guys like Pablo to be like, hey, you've been here here. Tell us what it was like back in the day.
Yeah, show
old
us,
man.
Show us the ropes.
Yeah,
you know?
what was it like back in your day? He's like, they had to walk to DC United uphill both ways with no shoes on.
Wow, they had just no cleats.
Yeah, nothing.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, a lot of these things were available.
Could you imagine, like when the internet started becoming really popular, I'm going to be like, man, my kids are going to, I've never had kids, but I'm like, oh, my kids are going to think I'm so weird that I was born before the internet. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We're going to try to explain to people in like 3 or 4 years that are part of like whatever new, FC Cincinnati and be like, no. They were cats living in a stadium.
Sure.
Birds dropped seeds and created wildlife.
Just what a strange delivery system of seeds.
Yeah, I mean that's how it happens. But
birds, really? Okay, it's just it's just what an odd.
It also I think they're just blaming birds for everything out.
We're gonna hear that like it sounds like the beginning of Jurassic Park and like how they found the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
it was a bird just and it got trapped in amber and now we have it's the jungle of RFK Stadium.
Yeah. That's
so
exactly
much wildlife.
Right.
But yeah, that was great. Yeah, make sure you follow Pablo at MLSist. It's great. We'll not let you down. Very, very funny and incredibly informative.
Hilarious.
So
yeah, and we're thinking of possibly going down to RFK for that final game. That is true. We're talking about it.
That's right.
We might do it.
We're gonna wear a beekeeper suit just in case.
Just in case.
You never know.
I will bring binoculars so we could bird watch.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, I'm allergic to cats. Am I allowed in that stadium?
Oh,
it's their home.
You're. They make the rules.
I mean, it's their home. I gotta respect their home.
Yeah, they have literally the DC United supporters group policy is like, well, you can bring in the banners. Just make sure you're nice to the cats.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what do you have mice, you get cats, right? The cats become a problem, you got to get dogs. The dogs become a problem, I don't know what you do. You know what I mean? That's kind of what's happening at DC United.
You got Michael Vick. That's
Michael Vick. Michael Vick will come and take care of it for you.
Obviously, we do not condone that. But
he's like, look, no, we'll get rid of the dogs, but we're going to make them fight first. That one's McGregor. That one's Mayweather.
What do you think of the fight? Speaking of,
I for a while I thought maybe it was called a little early, but I was reading up on.
I think you just like seeing a white man be bludgeoned. Is that?
I mean, from the moment I was born, we're not supposed to talk about porn on this on this podcast.
It was a good fight. I thought it was interesting.
It was. You know what? Look, for what it was clearly what everyone thought it was going to be. I thought it was a little like it was a little sort of pumped up. Look, McGregor tried. He gassed himself. And at the same time, I thought he was just exhausted. Turns out that a lot of what he was exhibiting was signs of like brain trauma. Like the dizziness, the stuff like that. That wasn't necessarily how someone acts when they're gassed. That's the beginning of, I forget the name of it. There's like a very specific type of brain trauma that comes from the back of the brain smacking against the back of the skull. And he was showing that, which is why the match was called. So I was like, you got to let the guy bleed a little. I want
to see blood. Yeah. I want to see.
I'm like, he didn't even hit the ground. You got to fall.
You got to get the paddles out before before the ref calls it.
Send in the dogs. I was just ready for blood. It's a soccer match. I mean, I'm sorry, it's a boxing match.
You're right. Yeah, it's a soccer match in Argentina.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yella Van Damme is involved. For me, it was like, look, the guy's got to fall. The guy's got to get dropped. He's an MMA fighter. He takes bigger abuse.
He was taking a beating.
Turns out he was taking a much bigger abuse. But look, Mayweather now has to be considered the most successful fighter of all time. If you don't consider him the greatest, he certainly is the most successful. 50-0.
And then just money after just boatloads of money.
Look, they both took pictures on private airplanes with a gang of cash in front of them. So good for both of them.
Yeah, they're both rappers from the South.
Yeah, yeah. But shouts to Mayweather. He was looking out the window in his photo.
Okay,
which I just found out is called a planned. Did you know that? A planned, candid photo.
Oh.
It's taken the internet by storm. Maybe we should do some planneds. Okay. Put that on our Instagram.
Just casually staring at the box seats from our supporter section in Yankee Stadium.
$3 are in front of us. So they both took pictures of them flying away with lots of money. So good for both of them. I think we were all the suckers,
Sure. I mean,
I had a great time.
I had a great time. It was entertaining. I'll say that much.
What did your girl think? She's generally
what?
Not a big boxing fan, right? My wife was like, I wasn't paying attention. I'm like,
I would not say that. I think she kind of grew up Russian. That's
right.
Her family's
child
Russian.
soldier. Yeah.
So,
She's used to watching violence.
She was fighting her father at 3 months old.
Right. This is how you get dinner in the Russian family. You must fight father.
So she had. I think with a lot of times when the trope is women don't like sports or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of women that may not be into a particular sport, they usually always have fond memories of someone who did like the sport, and then that
like someone in their family or something.
So her grandfather was a big boxing guy. He was one of the guys who would punch at the screen to try to support the Russian guy.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Like it was just Mike Tyson's punch out from that.
Right. He only watches Rocky IV till about 3/4 of the film.
So I think it brings back fond memories when she sees two men fighting each other.
That's okay. What an odd way to end that sentence. Yeah, my wife was like just a big fan of Conor McGregor's wife.
Oh, yeah.
So it all became about Dee Devlin.
Yeah. And I guess, she's like good on social media or something.
Yeah, I guess the wife of an entertainer, to her, she has a bond with. Especially because she's very like, don't you dare talk about my man, which, my wife is very much like that. But also she's her own personality. She's her own character. She's not Conor McGregor's wife. She's Dee Devlin. You know what I mean? She showed up wearing leopard print, which, my wife's from Jersey originally. That's immediately in her heart. That's it. You won her over.
That's the flag of New Jersey.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a leopard print.
It's just leopard print with like one little like STD at the bottom. That's the flag of New Jersey.
And there's also a cigarette burn.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You can't forget that. That's the moniker.
And the font is the same as Camaro,
but in other sports where people were putting hands to people's faces, we should it was rivalry week.
Rivalry week
in MLS, and we always Heineken rivalry week. We get very excited over this.
Oh, buddy, 2 Heinekens, you can't say rivalry week. Rivalry week.
Yeah, we had tweeted out that it is a difficult thing.
It's not a tongue twister. It's like a tongue number. It's like a very difficult rivalry week.
Rivalry. It's that in between the two words.
Rivalry week.
Yeah, we have to take a pregnant pause before between each words. But yes, speaking of hands to the face, we got to talk about Seattle and Portland
with the hot potato goal that that Christian rolled under. Torres wanted that goal so bad.
Oh my God, he
couldn't get any other body part onto it.
Everything. He threw everything at it.
Yeah.
He was flinging. If he could have removed a leg from his body to swing at it, he would have done that. That's how urgent this was.
He threw his backpack at that thing. He threw a hat. I mean,
get in there. Come on.
He was trying so hard to get a goal. There were too many bodies in front of him. I mean, it was one of those things where like the camera had to zoom all the way in just to see what's happening because it just looked like a bunch of like Sims bumping into each other.
Sure. Yeah. Lemmings.
It was ridiculous.
Bouncing around.
And then all you saw was Christian Roldan celebrating. You're like, all right, well, the ball must have gone in.
Yeah. In those moments, it is surprising that there's not a handball, right? Those are those moments. It's like your instinct is just like, all right, I just got to grab it and throw it in there because this is ridiculous. This is getting crazy.
It's too much. The fans don't want to see this. I don't want to be a part of
Somebody's going to get hurt here. Ref, look, just you understand me. Somebody had to pick this ball up and just place it in the goal.
I'm surprised he didn't pick it up, just bury his head down and just barrel into the just like a Marshawn Lynch.
Barrel through. It was a wild goal. It came from a corner, and look, it's good. It's slightly surprising that it was Christian Roldan that ended up with the opportunity.
I didn't even see him in there. That's the funniest thing. There's just a bunch of white jerseys.
The giant Chad Marshall, giant Torres.
Torres and Chad Marshall, you can see.
There's furrows, there's giant foreheads.
And there's just a bunch of short Latinos running around those two tall men. And one of them happens to score. It was absolutely insane. It was one of those where like, you celebrate not because you did something very special, but because like, oh my God, actually it went in.
Crazy, huh?
That's wild.
It almost, I don't know if did he get the call up before that goal to the World Cup qualifier?
I want to believe no. I want to believe that it was because of that.
I was like, you know what? Bruce was just like, you're a scrappy kid.
Yeah,
all right?
Get in there, kid.
So this game did end up 1-1, and Portland got a penalty.
Yeah.
That Valeri ended up putting away. But this the penalty itself, I don't think there wasn't too much question about it. This was with Darren Maddox running in and Torres. I think Marshall.
This is the end of Maddox's career in MLS. I think is this year.
Just drawing penalties.
I think it's the end of his career. After
you don't think he's playing too well?
Hey, look, how did he let that ball bounce?
Oh, okay.
It clearly was a penalty, but if you didn't see it, there was a beautiful pass. I believe it was from Valeri.
I think so too.
Yeah, Valeri. No, it was. Valeri sent a beautiful long ball right into the 18-yard box. Maddox got two defenders and the goalkeeper coming at him. And Maddox lets it bounce as opposed to trapping it. And just David Villa would have stopped, and both of those defenders their momentum would have carried them forward.
Oh, sure.
And he would have had an open sight at the goal.
But, we can't compare every player to David Villa.
That's actually what this podcast is about. So, Chad Marshall, you're next.
No, you really need to get your footwork going.
It's almost like you didn't even focus on this at all.
I mean, you could at the very least you could shrink about a foot.
yeah. Roman, get a haircut because you're coming up next. But I look at that and I'm like, this guy's just mostly pace. He just doesn't have those additional skill sets. I might be wrong. I mean, maybe he's playing with not a lot of confidence right now, but I have a feeling he's going to be like, on the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
I think Darren that's not Fernando Adi belongs in that position. Darren Maddox is a much better winger than a center forward.
True. Also true.
They don't have anyone else to replace Adi, which is their issue, which they should sort out. But I think Portland, and especially in these derbies, any Cascadia match, they playing at CenturyLink, they're gonna play a bit more defensive than if they were playing in Providence Park. But overall, a good game. I thought it was pretty entertaining. They probably should have been more goals. Seattle. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it was 1-1. I mean, it was the fact that it ended in a draw is kind of a shame.
Yeah, but this guy, Jeff Antonello or Atenel, I forgot his the goalkeeper, the keeper, who replaced the other guy. Jeff Atenel, who Jake Gleason, which we call him the other guy.
Everybody knows who we're talking about.
He's been look, and some people are already suggesting that Atenella, what is his name? Atenella. I keep thinking ant, like ant.
Yeah,
Antonella. So some people are suggesting that he could probably have earned the spot over Gleason. He's been playing pretty well.
He has been playing well, yeah, and I don't think he, it's not his sort of job to be able to stop seven men from playing. Hot potato in front of his goal. So
sure.
that one goal can't really count against them.
But he's I think the last game, I forgot who they played against. I think it might have been Vancouver. The Seattle played Vancouver, but I forgot. But Portland has been, especially with losing Gleason, he has I think a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
He stepped in and been like, I mean, you haven't really noticed any a huge drop off.
Not at all.
And in quality, between the posts. But he's looking good.
He is looking good. I really like when the backup keeper comes in and does a good job. As an NYCFC fan, we don't have that option.
That's not even one guy. And please, you better play well. Don't get injured. Don't
wrap him in bubble wrap.
Don't ride a Segway. Don't ride one of them hoverboards.
Nope.
We don't need any of that stuff.
None of that.
I think a big question that was raised in this game. Atenal did play well, but Jordan Morris had so many great chances, so many breakaways. He should. I think he had 3 1-on-1s, And
all stopped by the keeper.
all stopped. And,
but also all shot directly at the keeper.
yeah, I believe it was someone from Total MLS. I think they had tweeted this out.
That he shows himself too early.
Yeah,
to like the motion to kick.
Yeah.
To kick, to take a shot.
Yeah, he like reveals exactly where he's going to go.
Yeah.
Way too soon before the shot is taken. And after I saw that,
That's all I could focus on after that
that's
tweet.
all
That's
all I could think about. And then I started looking at other players, and I'm like, oh, do the other players like show?
Giovinco shows you 10 minutes after he scored. It's ridiculous.
You have no idea where the hell he's
Because
gonna go.
I look back at the highlights just to see other people. I did the exact same thing you did.
Yeah.
And someone like Giovinco, even David Villa, you see him open up his hips, but you never know which way he's going.
Yeah.
I think it's also, and I think other people said this too, it's because Jordan Morris only has 1 foot.
Yeah, there were a couple with his left that he.
Yeah.
Yeah. He.
And by the way, he obviously has both of his feet. I mean, he can only...
Imagine what a brave young boy.
What?
To be.
I didn't tell you this. I was hosting a show, and it was a guy from Jacked. This dude was Jack, bald headed. He looked like Bob Bradley, like bald head,
Okay.
but like jacked, right? Not like massive cut, right? And Australian. I was like, "Oh, what are you in town for? What do you do? You know, vacation?" He goes, "I'm here to fight sharks." And I was like, "Oh, you're doing the whole Australian thing?" And he's like, "No, really, that's what I'm here for." And I was like, "Do we have a lot of sharks here?" He goes, "Oh, yeah." I'm like, "All right, well, never going in the water again." But I'm like, why do you fight sharks? He's like, "I got bit by one." I was like, "What? What were you doing that you got bit by one?" How about this? He was standing.
He got bitten by a
radioactive shark.
a New York shark?
Yeah,
Why
no,
is
he got bit by a shark, and that's what he does for a living.
Oh, now he's
a
fights
shark
sharks.
fighter. So yeah, none of this makes sense. But I was standing behind him, right? Because where he was sitting was on the way to the stage from the green room. I was standing by. He had a fake hand. He had the hand from Game of Thrones.
It was Jamie Lannister.
That's the dude's name, but it wasn't gold. It was black leather, which is super G'd out. Like, yo, looking at a fake black leather hand, it was in the exact same position as the dude from Game of Thrones, like the exact same like kind of hand motion. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo, I think that's a fake hand. And one of the comics like, stop. And then we realized it didn't move. No matter what he moved, it didn't move the motor. We're like, oh my god, it's fake. And it's black leather, which like, yo, you did that on purpose. You got black leather.
Well, if you lose an arm, you kind of want to look cool.
He didn't lose an arm. He just lost a hand.
Just a hand.
Which, that's the shark. The shark took his hand.
The shark wasn't that hungry? Didn't want the whole arm?
Not the whole arm.
Because most people lose like you at the elbow usually.
So I become a shark fighter too. Yo, you taking my hand? I'm taking out your whole family.
I'm not going.
How crazy is that black leather fake hand? That's a style choice.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
meant to
I don't know if
intimidate.
it's crazy, but
it's wild. Black leather. You don't go like, give me the skin tone one.
Okay.
Black leather. It's like an 80s villain, man.
He's like the Knight Rider.
Come on, that's like 007 character. Like the early crony that dies, but still a character.
Okay, well, maybe Jordan Morris just wear one black boot.
Yeah. One black leather boot.
Just no sponsor. Look, put his foot in a satchel.
Or a big baller brand. We get LeVar Ball to do
Yeah,
it.
that'd be nice. But yes, well, speaking of Jordan Morris's shooting motion, and he just to remind everybody, he does have both feet. He has all appendages as far as
every digit.
as far as we know. But yeah, he does do this a particular move where he clearly goes on the to the side of the ball.
Yeah.
So and he does a couple little pitter patter steps to adjust his
right.
Adjust
he takes
his
a free
stance.
kick basically every time.
Yeah. And the keeper just saw it all the way. Yeah, and it was just like, well, it's one of those things you don't really pay attention to. Because Morris scores especially last season, he was doing just fine. But it might speak to why he's having such a slump this year.
Yeah, and it's like anything else in any sport. People have tells. His tell has been discovered. You know what I mean? So, like, this is a big deal. Competing teams now know what he's going to do. This is something, keepers know based on who's about to take a free kick or a penalty where they might go. You know what I mean? Like, they've done that research.
Except if they're going against Giovinco.
No, they know he's going to go wherever the hell he wants. That's the thing. we know that already.
They know he's going directly behind them.
Like, that's it. It's done. Like, it's going to go in the net. He's practiced this. When it comes to Jordan Morris, people now know. People know exactly which way he's going to go. They know which way he's going to. If he does this with his body, it's going to be the right foot. If he does this with his body, it's going to be his left foot. Which that's never going to happen. He's always going to go right.
Yeah, Jordan just
Got to work on that weak foot, son.
What are you gonna do with your body, Jordan?
Come on, Jordan. You need to step your game up, Jordan.
Yeah, it's a shame because he's so fast and he has all these opportunities that a lot of he gets more chances, arguably, than almost any other MLS player.
Yeah,
because of his pace, and you just can't. He's not really doing much.
What's going to happen when that pace fades away?
Oh boy,
Seattle fans, talk to us.
Yeah,
what happens when that pace fades away?
I mean, it's going to be like a decade from now, so it's going.
You don't know that.
They won't have to think about that.
We hope so. I mean, I want him to, be a part of the men's national team, make up for a long time. So, we hope that it is a long time from now, but you never know.
The kid is going to be fine.
You don't know that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, him
shows up with a black leather hand. Shark fighting? Come on, Jordan.
Imagine he just finds himself after shark fighting.
He figures out his left foot. The problem was his right hand.
It was the signals were messing it all up.
It was the source of all of his power.
Let's talk about the Cali Clasico. That happened as well.
I didn't even watch the highlights for this. Why? LA Galaxy sucks. Who cares? Honestly, do you care? Did you care at all?
I'm like interested.
No, look at that hesitation.
No, I care as much as let's see how quickly this ship sinks.
No, I mean, look, Yella Van Dam was the smartest person on that team. He pieced out.
He was like, guys, it's cool and everything. I'm having a good time, but I'm gonna have to break out of this party a little early.
Beaches though, but I'm going Belgium, son. He got out. He was the smartest guy. Who cares? Season's over.
Yeah.
That is now the Charger Stadium. That has nothing to do with LA Galaxy anymore. Yeah. Speaking of the Charger Stadium, Dan Fouts.
That's
Faust.
Dan Fouts. Yeah.
No, Dan Fouts.
Fouts? I don't know.
It might be Fouts. He said that it's embarrassing that the Chargers are playing there. I believe you mean thank you, Dan.
Yeah, you have no other. Where are you going to play? You don't want to. You let your fans in San Diego down.
You got no home, Dan.
Yeah,
you embarrassed because you're sleeping in my studio apartment. You got nowhere else to go, Dan Fouts. You should be thanking the fans that didn't complain that you've got very large men roughing up their turf or their field.
His complaint was that the stadium is so small.
That's only 27,000. Oh, excuse us. Should we have tidied up a bit for you, Dan? You've got nowhere else to go. If it wasn't for us, you'd be playing your home games in another state. Okay?
Sure.
Which reminds me of NYCFC.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You'd be playing them in Connecticut, all right?
Yeah, that is...
You should be thanking the LA Galaxy because they're clearly not using the field. So you should be thanking them.
They don't need it for a goddamn thing.
They're not disturbing you whatsoever. You could play your game during one of their games. They're not doing anything with it. I did not watch the highlights. I did not watch the game. This was not a Cali Clasico. This was you should be ashamed that they had the way the LA Galaxy playing, that's sending bad juju to the Chargers. That's what you should be ashamed of. Not that we only have 27,000 seats.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many people are there. The Chargers are not getting into the playoffs.
No, it doesn't matter at all. Which a terrible LA Chargers logo. You've got no home, son.
But San Jose did win this game 3-0.
3-0. Of course they did. Who cares?
And LA did look bad. I did watch this game.
This is like talking about Arsenal. We know what was going to happen.
These were the only kind of takeaways from this game.
AP, the fans don't care.
The only thing I took away from this game was Jonathan Dos Santos started. He looked like the best player. It's weird that your brother comes to your team and immediately looks better than you.
Immediately.
Yeah, your brother does. I don't know what this season has been just so odd. He has not looked like the player that even he came in the middle of last season and he looked pretty good. He was a quality. He was a quality addition to the team, and now this season they have their own a host of issues. But
so many issues.
Dos Santos looked like the only one that like really wanted to be there and still had hope for this season
because he just got signed. All right, look around.
He has to look good.
Look around the dressing room. Everyone's sad. Who cares?
But just another.
You didn't want to watch those highlights. You didn't watch the game.
I did watch the game.
You watched that game?
I watched that game.
Why? That means nothing.
I did. I watched just because I take my job seriously. That's all.
I take my job seriously, but I pulled up those highlights like, get out of here. This don't matter. LA Galaxy, they gave up. Why shouldn't we?
It is odd.
You know what I would have watched? I would have watched highlights of Jelle Van Damme just eating fries or frites in Belgium. That's what I would have watched.
It is surprising that LA Galaxy is now doing worse than Minnesota United. Minnesota
United figured it out. Dunladi found the inside of the netting.
They did win a game. They did beat Chicago 2-1
on the road.
They
beat Chicago at home.
What? Yeah. Now, this is I think 4 in a row lost by Chicago.
Chicago, yo,
raises a lot of questions. What is up? What's up? What's going on with Chicago?
Yo, Chicago. We were just there, dog.
We were just there. Did we do something?
Was it us? Yo, Nemanja hasn't scored since he hugged me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what we're speaking of Juju.
Yeah.
I think you rubbed off on him.
He tried to rub off. I feel bad.
Rub one off? Anyway.
All right, look, as we keep going, 2 years. It took 2 years to get you to this point, but you're upsetting the league. You're now making sexual innuendo jokes. Tropic Sounders, it's working. It is working.
A shame, Chicago, especially after being there, meeting all the Fire fans. And even seeing how well they've been playing this season.
They felt so good about it. Remember there was that one loss before the All-Star game?
Well, the loss,
don't worry about it.
The loss was against NYCFC, that game where they were up a man and they still lost the game. And
I remember they were like, don't worry about it. It was one weird one.
Well, we'll bounce right back. And
oh, boy. No bounce.
No bounce.
Bounce.
It's a ball with no air. It is not bouncing up.
It's an egg.
And they've dropped to what, third or fourth place in they're
third and fourth
place. Columbus,
terrible Columbus crew is now above them with a game in hand, of course.
Yeah, they've been pretty consistent. Columbus.
They have 2 games in hand.
Yeah, they have Chicago has 2 games in hand. What are they going to do with those? Because even having 2 games in hand doesn't mean 2 wins in hand.
No, it don't. Not if you're Chicago right now. You know what teams are doing is they're just crowding around Akam. They're taking Akam out of the game. That's all Minnesota did. Minnesota was like, just stop Akam. They couldn't in that one. He had that one beautiful sort of just streak and goal. But if you don't bring a high line, if you sit deep a little bit, you minimize his entire ability.
Yeah, because we realize that Nikolić's strength is obviously
he's a poacher,
and if he does, he's not really like he's not really beating people one-on-one.
No, that's not his game.
Yeah, he just knows exactly where to be.
Yeah, receive
the ball and maybe one time it. He's not really doing too much while he's in the box.
Right.
But it is. I wouldn't say Chicago's having so many issues scoring. They are scoring some goals, but defensively they've just been. That's where the concern is, because Joao Almeida, he got hurt. Christian Dean, who I think they just got from Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. He
and then Ethan Finley.
Ethan Finley.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking Minnesota there.
Yeah, but the issue with the back line for Chicago. They've just been making like these weird mistakes that they just didn't do it early on in the season. You saw the goal,
but it could also be that remember in the beginning of the season, they had new players, everything was kind of new, a lot of adrenaline. And all of a sudden, middle of the season, they bring in, or not even fully middle of the season, but a couple weeks later, they bring in Schweinsteiger. So there's more adrenaline there. Now that everything's settled in, a lot of other teams have been able to watch enough game tape on these guys.
Sure.
I honestly think that's it. I think people just realized what it was. People were like, oh, it's all Akam. Akam stretches us out.
Sure.
We collapse to try to follow him. Nemanja Nikolić finds open space. Schweinsteiger gets a little closer. Delu gets a little closer. Solniak gets a little closer. And now they've got numbers in the box.
Yeah.
If we stop Akam, those numbers never show up.
I guess so. I mean, there's not too much creativity happening in the midfield, or not as much as there was when Schweinsteiger first got there.
Right.
It is. I mean, it is possible. Dax did play in the Gold Cup. him leaving, coming back, leaving, coming. Now he's got the World Cup qualifier. So it does. Maybe there's an issue with just like chemistry.
Oh my God! Ever since he thanked us about that fruit bowl.
I mean, look,
Could it be our fault?
Look, I'm not going to say that's what it is. I'm not going to not say that's what it is.
Could it be our fault?
We're analyzing all the evidence in front of us. We're going to need a little bit. We're going to need all the facts to come out before we come to a conclusion.
We have 3 things that we did in Chicago. Schweinsteiger touched my shirt and my arm.
Yeah.
Nemanja Nikolic touched me all over.
All over. And, up and down.
I mean, more than once. And Dax McCarty finally thanked us.
Yeah.
Those 3 things, those 3 players have not played the same since they had those interactions with us.
That is true.
Could it be us?
Could we have that effect on MLS team? I hope we don't I don't want that rumor out because nobody will ever allow us to talk to them.
No
again.
other players ever going to touch me up and down.
And guys, we want to be very clear. We want to be touched by MLS players.
Yeah. I don't think you have much luck. I think they're all chubby chasers.
Yeah.
They've got guys like you all over the place.
Yeah, there's an abundance of those. Yeah.
I think we may be the bad juju.
Yeah.
Did we break the Chicago Fire?
I was just before we cross. I don't want to forget. I wanted to say that I think they like you because Alexis is thick with 2 C's. They like that thickness.
Thick, nice and thick.
Hey, you know what? Everybody has their own favorite.
Everybody got to get ready for the winter.
Yeah, everybody has their favorite Pornhub category. You can't. Don't hate on anybody.
Nah, cuff who you want to cuff, yo.
It's getting chilly.
Yeah, it's cuffing season.
So, but yeah, the first goal from Dunladi, which was really Johan Kappelhoff's fault. That slide tackle, it was a cross that he slid. And the ball was initially all he had to do was just sort of handle the ball properly, and but no, he slide tackles and gives it back to the player who crossed it, who sent it back to Dunladi, and the keeper's already off the line. And by
the way, Dunladi did everything he could to miss that goal almost.
Oh sure, he
sent that thing like really high. Everyone was like, "Relax, Dunladi."
It was a real shock, right? You know, when Minnesota scores on you, there is a little bit of like, yo, for real though.
Oh.
I mean, we saw Minnesota when
Dan Fouts was embarrassed
when we saw Minnesota come to New York. They scored first, but it was off an error from who's the keeper, Eric Johansson from NYCFC and
keeper.
But it was that thing of like, for real.
Yeah.
Us, you guys. It's like if LA scored on anybody, right? It's like, really? And I think no one was really that scared.
Of course not.
After that first goal, because it's Minnesota. They're gonna do what Minnesota does, and
this is what Minnesota do.
They're gonna ruin it at some point.
They're gonna give it right back to you. Don't worry.
No, Dunladi comes back and
does
scores.
It again.
Scores again in the beginning of the second half, I don't remember if it was the first half. It was end of the first of the second half, but it did. Then I think that second goal is what I think gives some definition to what Chicago is going through right now. Like, we could be like, it's a slump and whatever. We'll pick up the next game, whatever. But this is the game you end the slump.
Yeah, they're slump busters.
Yeah. Minnesota's that's what MLS, that's what Garber put them in the league for, to make other people feel better.
Yeah, Adrian Heath is like, wait, why are you letting us win?
No,
we're here to make you look good.
we're trying our best, you know.
Come on.
But that second goal, the frustration you saw was just like, oh boy, yeah, this is a real problem that's not going away.
Yeah. Minnesota, they brought in a ton of pieces. Adrian Heath is like, please, let me keep my job. They seem to be getting better right at the same time and it's not just Chicago. FC Dallas has just collapsed.
Oh, sure. There's another. Their team might miss the playoffs.
Yeah, and there's rumors that they're going to sell Urruti to San Lorenzo.
It's a fire sale.
Yeah, everybody got to go.
Everybody go.
Bring on the kids.
Yeah, well, I think we saw a couple MLS players on Etsy the other day.
Yeah.
Really, just
I know you can get like 3 of them on eBay. They're bundled together.
Yeah, and that's what a weird turnaround from winning the Supporter Shield. And Pablo was talking about this in the interview with him that we just had, that the turnaround from year to year with MLS clubs, that this can happen. But you sort of don't expect this from FC Dallas, given how consistent they are year to year.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they sort of claim to be a selling club, but you would hope that they'd be able to keep some of their best players. So we'll see.
Yeah, let's talk about not necessarily a rivalry week game, but Philadelphia and Atlanta. This was a very good game.
Yeah, this was a good one.
This game ended tied 2-2. 2 quick goal. Was it? Did they? No, they 2 goals from Philly. They got them first, and then a comeback from Tyrone Mears in like the 90th minute or something like that. So another game. Atlanta. They've had a very long break, and the first thing watching that game, I'm like, rust. You just look like
those guys were on hammocks.
It looks like a preseason game.
Yeah,
they just were not comfortable. You didn't see that comfort that you're used to seeing.
Yeah, and I want to pull back on my announcement at the beginning, or my prediction at the beginning of the season that Atlanta would win it all, because I just realized they get a 2-week break in the middle of the season. That's actually not a great thing. It's probably good for, recovering some of the injured players. Like, some people have like some nasty effects of the season that they sort of relax and get over. So they get a little bit more refreshed. But I just realized, how awful it is that someone's going to make you play in a new stadium midway through your season with an entire new playing surface and everything.
Yeah, they're going to have to, that learning curve is going to be...
Jeez, they've had basically 3 seasons in one. The beginning of the season, figuring out how to play without Joseph Martinez.
Yeah.
And now this.
Yeah. Oh,
it's tough.
And the long break.
Yeah.
That didn't help either.
But they're going to have 30 home games now in a row?
Yeah, they're just going to put hammocks out on the field because their game is literally 6 hours later.
Yeah, no, we're good. We'll be right here. Let us know when the next one starts.
What was the goal? The first goal from Roland Alberg, great positioning. He got that chip from Meduninen.
Yeah.
Chested it down, put the ball in. You got to give props. It was a great move. But then the goal from Bedoya, the bicycle kick.
Bedoya.
We're not used to seeing bicycle kicks from Bedoya. Bedoya is also kind of a big man, but kind of burly.
Yeah, he's like a tough midfielder. He's not the kind of guy who's fancy on his feet for a bicycle kick.
Yeah, you sort of you worry that he does a bicycle kick and there's the grass is concave when he lands. He's a big man.
Yeah, he thumps. When he lands, he thumps. Yeah.
But yeah, cool from him. That was great. I mean, my favorite, his goal last year, that chip that he did last season when he got to the league, where he chipped from outside the box.
Oh, yeah.
That was so far, that's
welcome to the league.
Bedoya's best goal. But Yamil Assad getting that goal, that assist, which was not a usual assist you're used to seeing from Joseph Martinez. He basically dove-headed, assisted it to a cutting in Assad, and Assad just placed it perfectly.
To a running Assad.
Blasted it.
But also, we all thought Joseph might be able to score from here because that's how strong he is.
Yeah. It was a wild commitment to getting back in the game.
But it also goes to show that with Tata Martino sort of putting it in place where they're like, here's where this player is going to be, here's the type of motion, here's the type of run to expect here. Get the ball there any way you can. It's like a really good back heel almost.
Sure.
Where to put the ball. You just throw your body at it, hoping to get it in that position. Again, I love watching Atlanta play. And these are the reasons why, man. They just literally throw everything at it.
Well,
it's just Torres in front of goal is essentially the entire team.
I remember watching a video. Brittany Arnold, who she's the sideline reporter for Atlanta United, and she also does coverage for I think it's Fox Sports South, if I'm not mistaken, or South Southeast or something. I forgot the exact.
It doesn't matter. Cubana.
Network. But
anyway.
She had done a video. She was interviewing another Atlanta United, I think, reporter. And before the game, the midweek game, which was against DC United, and this game, they were very confident. She had asked a question like, "Can we expect 6 points out of these two games?" And the other guy was like, "Of course, this is DC United and Philadelphia.
Put it on the board already.
We're out of here. Why do we even need to go to these games? We don't even need to play them."
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think? Bedoya's going to score a bicycle kick? Get out of here.
And they leave these two games with 1 point. They lose to DC United midweek 1-0 from an own goal.
Michael Parkhurst.
And
Michael Parkhurst, as I mentioned before, I think the second leading scorer or third leading goal scorer in DC United right now.
What is... I'm baffled. What is... Atlanta has lost to DC 2 times already, or 3?
Twice, yeah. Twice. I believe it is 3 times.
I think it's they lost to them 3 times.
Look, part of it is they have, you got to get one team figured out, right? I mean, DC United hasn't even figured themselves out. They at least figured out Atlanta,
They can't even figure themselves out in training. They get each side gives up like a dozen goals.
They're like, what do you want to do? I don't know. We'll go do that. But I think one of the things that, you look at Atlanta and you hope, okay, they're going to have a lot of time at home. They're going to have a lot of time to go over all this, think about it, figure out what's wrong. Hopefully they get it right. Because that's the team you want to see in the playoffs. That's just good for ratings. They're a fun team. And we're not down there yet. So let's not make that event a sad one. Okay? Let's make it a lot of fun.
It is. I cannot figure out what is it that DC does. What do they have that is the kryptonite to Atlanta United?
It might just be dumb luck.
3 times?
I know. And a lot of dumb luck.
And then, I remember watching the game. I think the first game that they played at Bobby Dodd. And DC was like scoring. I mean, they don't really have that much trouble.
No,
getting by them. So
like
it's
Lloyd Sam and not Kellen Acosta, the other
Luciano
Acosta.
I mean, he is a Giovinco type. He's very small.
Yeah, small,
Maxi Morales,
very good with his feet.
Yeah,
gets into spaces. Doesn't mind going at players.
But
something really missing from the league.
But defensively, DC has a boatload of issues.
Yeah, I mean, they're worrying about fish and cats. I mean,
And the fact that Atlanta can't take advantage of those things is it boggles the mind. A bummer. I still think Atlanta should get into the playoffs. They should make it. I mean,
let's just say they will. We believe they will. Yeah. But again, making the playoffs in your first year is very, very difficult. If there's ever been a team that looks like they're prepared for it, it's this one. So we'll see.
Exactly. So let's talk about the team that's right behind or right ahead of Atlanta in the standings. Montreal played against Toronto.
I thought they had a chance.
You thought Montreal, but like before the game started?
Yeah. And I kind of also believed when Piatti scored the goal to make it 2-1.
Oh, yeah, at the end there?
And then, dude, before the fans even finished celebrating, my favorite part of that were like fans were leaving. It was the 90th minute, right? Fans were leaving. They're like, all right, this is garbage. We lost to our biggest rival. I'm getting out of here before the 5 minutes runs out. And then all of a sudden, Piatti scores. And fans were like coming back in. The announcer mentions it. Fans are coming back in. They didn't leave all the way. Oh my God, it's 2-1. This can happen. So the fans like, that's it. I'm out of here. Score. You know what? Let's go back in. I need to go see this. As soon as you take 3 steps, Giovinco scores again. I knew it. Yeah. I should have left. This is ridiculous.
Giovinco did get another free kick goal. He got one in the.
That was the first goal.
That was the first goal.
But all right, beautiful.
But he also had a chance before that, like a couple of minutes prior, where from the other side of the box. It really just if you're not coaching, if you're an opposing team and you're not coaching your team to refuse, just to absolutely refuse to foul on top of that box, top of the box. Do not foul him.
I would honestly say, just let him go.
Let him go.
He might miss. That's better. You have a better chance of him in the run of play than with a dead ball.
Yeah.
Really?
It's that scary. I mean, he scored. I think the number is 5. I think he scored 5 free kick goals.
Ridiculous
this year, which is. It's hard to score one, just a regular goal. You wouldn't score 5 penalties if you took 5 penalties.
Yeah, I mean the guy is just incredible, and the celebration, the boo hoo hoo.
Yeah, that was funny.
That's messed up. I love Montreal, man. Not necessarily the team, but I love the city and the fans. Man, that had to hurt.
No, Josie Altidore after the game said he takes pride in being able to knock out Montreal. If he can make them not make the playoffs, he would love that.
Damn. I think they're the ones that gave Baloo the sore throat.
The quote unquote sore
throat. If you wondered why Baloo didn't play, it was definitely not because he tried to get himself traded to Chelsea or sold to Chelsea. 100% sore throat. You know how you can't run when you have a sore throat.
Yeah, I mean it's and this nobody's going to be frustrated with you for just trying to leave to a European club.
Not at all.
When you're also 18 years old.
18, and they haven't really made an offer for you just yet.
But what a great game. This was
incredible game.
We went to the playoff match in Montreal between Toronto and Montreal. And
the first leg of those playoffs, which were incredible.
Which were great. And the second leg was even more nuts, right? I mean,
we didn't get to go to that one, but man.
And so you always know, like, there's probably going to be a good game. There's going to be a couple goals scored. And it didn't disappoint. I was very, very entertained.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Giovinco's play, I also really was impressed with Blair Jamali. He was great.
Yeah.
He had a couple great chances. Who's the Bono? Is it Matthew Bono? I forgot.
It's hard because all I want to focus on is Salazar's hair.
Oh, the blonde.
What the hell is going on there? It's like some of it is spiked, parts of it are baby braided. It's all white. It's very odd.
Yeah, I mean, but Montreal's kind of known. They have a Duro who has the
mohawk.
He has the mohawk, but he also has like a design in his hair. Alex Bono is his name. But he. There's a lot of personality going on in Montreal. I embrace it. I think it's cool.
I think it's great. And speaking of personality, Piatti, great player, beloved. He's leaving. He wants to be gone.
Yeah. Well, he wants more money.
They're not going to give him more money.
Why wouldn't
he? Deserves more money. I don't know what he's making, but whatever it is, if he wants more, he deserves more.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
That goal that he scored was pretty amazing.
I could see him at NYCFC next season.
He would. I think he would fit in.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of people leaving, right? Yangel Herrera is not staying.
He's gone. He's on loan.
Who else?
I could see Jonathan Lewis making the start over Rodney Wallace, so having a bigger midfielder, a bigger presence in the midfield like Piatti makes sense.
Maybe. Who knows?
It could happen.
Okay. Well, we know that...
Montreal fans have stopped listening. Jazz Bourneval is slamming the table. Sofiane Benzaza.
Like, no, I will stop. Listening to this podcast.
Mathieu Tremblay is ripping my picture down off of his class wall. Sometimes don't get too close to your heroes.
But yeah, if Montreal doesn't pay him, he's gonna have a host of options.
He's not gonna have a short list of suitors.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Well, we can talk about the New York Derby. This one ended 1-1.
1-1.
Not the most entertaining of games.
No, but you know what though? Like just for the purpose of the Hudson River Derby and or Derby, I don't care however you say it. Let's just say a Derby. You know what? Screw you, England. We're going with Derby. By the way, even though it's the Scottish accent,
I say Derby.
All right. Well, I'm going to say Derby then, just to annoy the fans because now there's 2 pronunciations. But for the first 2.5, 3 seasons, it was, New York City was not involved in any way, shape, or form. Just all they did was like, hey, do you have any more room to hold any more L's? I got 7 right here. Do you really need? So it's been nice to see this rivalry grow. And, as much as the Rebel fans hate it, it's needed to, the pendulum had to swing the other way. You know what I mean? So outside of the Open Cup loss, which for NYCFC, which Red Bulls played really well in that game, and it's possible that the Red Bulls go on to win the Open Cup. So you have something you have some type of leverage there, or a little bit of shine because you beat NYCFC on the way to win the U.S. Open Cup. So that make your first trophy or your first cup, right? You have trophies, you have supporter shields. They're just not cups, right? So it's a chance. It's something that you
can drink stuff off a plate, like a little
but
kitten.
It's a perfectly flat plate,
like a little kitten at RFK.
Just a little tabby cat that owns RFK. So you have something to be proud of, but of course the pendulum had to swing the other way. The tifo, I have a little bit of an issue with.
Really?
I thought it was very creative. I thought it was very funny.
Very fun tifo.
If you didn't see it, it was kind of see-through, and they listed all of the places that NYCFC has supposedly or allegedly looked for
a
stadium, and then have an X next to it, and they put a check mark next to Hartford, Connecticut. Very funny, very nice, but most of those sites were also looked at by the Metro Stars before they became the Red Bulls.
Oh, sure.
And even the Red Bulls when they were trying to find their own stadium, including Aqueduct, which was on there. I'm sure Belmont was one of them, because they have the gaming license. You picked Harrison, New Jersey, which is in another state. Granted, it's not 100 miles away like Hartford is, but it's in another state. So, I mean, there's a little bit of disconnect there where I'm like, all right, it's not like, all right, look, yes, we have blood on our hands, but your hands aren't necessarily clean either,
Okay.
You can't throw rocks if you live in a glass house. You can't bust shots at me when you're standing in front of the gun.
What a great updated analogy.
I got you. Just in case you're like, what's a glass house? Oh, he's talking gunplay.
I thought it was funny. That was fine, and maybe it could also be like a checklist of like, hey, we checked these. You don't need to check them again. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what the tifo could mean as well.
No, I think it was the places
I know that's clearly the joke. But my favorite part of the trolling was the whale, the Hartford Whaler.
That they deserve every credit for. That was pretty perfect. Even though that joke was made already on Twitter.
Yeah.
To go out and actually get the Hartford Whalers mascot and to double down on it, they got a cake for the locker room. They got a Fudgy the Whale cake. And
Fudgy, that's his name? Pucky.
No, Pucky is the mascot. Remember Fudgy the Whale from Baskin Robbins?
Oh, yeah.
Or I think it was Baskin Robbins that you can get, or Carvel.
Okay.
Carvel, you can get an ice cream cake, and the famous one was Fudgy the Whale. They got a Fudgy the Whale cake with a Hartford Whalers logo on it. I mean, if you don't know who the Hartford Whalers is, it's an old hockey team. It was the professional team in Hartford, Connecticut, and obviously they don't exist anymore. I believe they became the Colorado Avalanche. I don't know how I know that. But yeah, they're no longer in Hartford. There's no professional teams in Hartford. So pretty cool. Pretty cool that
it was funny. Yeah, the mascot Pucky got into like the capo stand kind of.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Funny.
I mean, what are we gonna do?
It's funny.
Our team's playing Connecticut. What do you want? You brought the heat.
Yeah, I mean, you made that decision to play in Connecticut. This is what you should have expected to come at you. And also, I think Jesse Marsh was like, I don't know why they had a whale.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, oh, that's the mascot for Hartford. And he goes, yeah, and they're like, NYCFC is going to play a home game in Hartford, Connecticut. He goes, oh, thank you for explaining it to me. Like, that dude has no sense of humor. He has nothing but anger and mean stares.
Jesse Marsh, I guess, is like the uninformed dad. He's just like, who never like, what's this Drake you guys are listening to?
Yeah.
Drake?
He just doesn't care.
Just like, Dad, what you learned? Like, it's not even that hard to like learn about this stuff.
He was on SNL. God.
Which it is. You would think Jesse Marsh
calls it the Twitter machine. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys.
You would think he would be. You would presume almost every manager would be like on. Kept abreast of everything going on.
No, not Jesse.
Not Jesse. And this is like, and it's not like what RSL's doing or something. It's like it's the rival team. I feel like, and you know what? Maybe
this is the most important opponent you have.
Maybe that even suggests and points to how bad coverage of MLS is. That even
the manager,
doesn't even. He's like, what? What's going on? NYCFC's playing where? Do we gotta go over there? Like it was like
Wait. We're playing in Harvard?
oh wait,
Yeah.
is us?
Yeah.
No, wait. Oh wait, there's another New York team.
Where do I find the schedule?
Like just like the literally the materials for all this information are just not available to
No,
him.
he's like, they pronounce it Darby? New York? It's just confused by everything.
All right. All I know, the only guy I know here is Sasha. That's,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody's names.
Who's that short black guy that keeps scoring for us?
Just yeah. I'm like, yeah, he's one of the good ones.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
That's Jesse. He has a
Jesse
name.
Albright Marsh. Good God. We want to let everyone know we don't believe. Man, Christian's really dropped off the deep end. Christian, if you don't know, has been drinking coffee before the podcast. Maybe that might be it. That's where all the anger and
Oh
meanness comes
boy,
from.
yeah. So
Yeah, we do not believe Jesse Marsh is part of the alt-right.
good. Okay, I'm glad we can sort
Yeah,
it out.
we do not believe that.
But this game ended 1-1, and then maybe there were a couple controversial.
It's some
things in this
penalties
game.
being called, penalties not being called.
I mean, the foul against Sasha Kleshchin by RJ, and RJ, it has been this has been a bit of an issue with RJ because the game against Toronto, where the
he came in
during the Gold Cup, hot, and
comes in angry, fast, and hot.
forgot who he fouled. It was a cross, and he just barreled into the dude in the box, and boom, and 2 points dropped.
Yeah,
and kind of the same issue here.
he came at.
And he got lucky. He came at Sasha Kleshchin.
Yeah, he's not even going for the ball. Literally just taking Sasha out midair.
Well, I mean, no. The foul against Sasha was where Sasha made a great move and got into the box, and RJ came kind of barreling in, and Sasha's.
Okay, yeah, I know which one you're talking
He's
about.
good on his feet, but he knocked knees.
Yeah.
With them, and yeah, once definitely the foul was without a doubt very soft, but it was a foul. RJ came barreling in like a maniac.
Yeah, and Sasha went down really easy, but there was contact.
Yeah, and,
what are you gonna do?
And it was a soft call, but I think I mean you never want to see like makeup calls.
Yeah,
right?
no.
But RJ did also barrel into.
I mean, from a 3-point stance. Was it Kenmar?
No, this is Bradley Wright Phillips. It was a
That's
great,
right.
It was a great cross
To the far post.
To the far post. Bradley Wright Phillips is there. It's gonna go in. All he has to do is just direct it in.
The ball just has to hit the guy's forehead. He doesn't even have to move his head. It's going in. But no.
No, RJ, he
Open field tackle, Allen.
in the air. I mean, look, you gotta commend him for his. He goes in for challenges. He's a brave guy.
Yeah, and he knew. He thought he was like, oh, I'm out of the game, but at least I stopped the goal. He thought a penalty was going to be called.
I mean, he jumped in the air. No real opportunity to get the ball.
No,
but
took BWP out.
Yeah, hit him right in the air. And
but then you look at the mule. You look at the mule tackle and the penalty called. There is a little bit of contact there, not enough for him to go down, and I don't think that should have been called a penalty.
Wait, what are you referring to?
Remember, mule got clipped in the 18-yard box. Was there not a penalty called for that?
There was no penalty.
I thought there was.
No, there's no penalty. Did somebody save a penalty? I was at the game.
Wait, how did the Red Bull score?
They scored from the penalty, but that was Sasha's foul. That was the RJ foul on Sasha Kleshchin.
It wasn't on the mule?
No.
I thought it was.
No, you're wrong.
I watched that game too. How did I forget that?
Sure, you didn't mix it up with the Cali Clasico?
I think my brain is just filled with all the people that I have a vendetta against.
Yeah, and Verone
comes in,
scores a penalty.
He's a DP who's a substitute. Guy has not played well. I don't think the Red Bull fans are really happy with him. He hasn't scored, which is what he was brought in to do.
Yeah,
but then he comes in and takes the penalty.
Yeah, I mean he went right down the middle, buried it, and look, and it's 1-1. But it was a great goal. The Maxi Morales goal was great,
incredible
cross from RJ to Villa.
Beautiful passing.
And great pass to Morales, which is that's like standard NYCFC play, and you'd love to see them. I mean, it's beautiful football.
Yeah,
played well, but a lot of there were controversial calls. The other one was the lack of a handball call on Alex Mule. There was a header After the
that
goal.
would be a sending a header, but I think it was. I think Mule was too close.
I don't think he was too close.
I think it was ball headed towards hand, not the other way around. Even though Mule left his hand out on purpose,
He did.
You could see it. I mean, in the slow mo, especially, you could see that the momentum of his hand stops. But I mean, you'd be really hard pressed to call that.
Seeing it live, it looked like a handball to me. I didn't understand how he didn't call it. It made no sense to me, but whatever. It is what it is. But it was the game was intense, and NYCFC fans were loud.
Yeah,
I mean,
you could hear them on the mics that were in front of the South Ward, which is where the supporters of the Red Bull stand. You could still hear the NYCFC fans on that mic.
Boy,
so.
yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome being there. They were definitely. It was more passion than a home game, without a doubt. It was great.
Any dust ups, any trouble?
No, there was some trolling from like some fans. They would like flip the bird to the supporter section, and we would get a lot of boos. There actually one thing that was pretty funny. There was a guy running around, or woman, I have no idea. And they were like a ghost. They look like a ghost, covered in a sheet. And again, it was not a neo-Nazi rally. It was definitely
this was like pretending to be like a scary like Halloween.
It was
ghost.
a ghost, but they had the number 7. It was like a ghost. The ghost of the 7 goal.
Yeah.
Flying around, he was taking photos with everybody.
They've done that before. That's really funny.
It was very, very funny, and it got a lot of boos. It was definitely there was animosity, but it was cool.
I heard there was a few issues on the way to like the path station. Supposedly a couple guys got jumped by a large group. So hopefully that shit's not true.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the stadium experience itself was awesome, and they also had a very long wait before they let the supporters out.
Oh, really? That's right. They make the
so it was about like it was like 20-25 minutes.
Yeah.
It seemed longer than usual because like the grounds crew was like they had already taken like the goalposts down and all this other stuff.
Yeah. There was already like NFL lines down. They're just like whatever. I mean,
well, I guess they were getting ready for the World Cup qualifier.
Yeah.
But there was a very, very long wait. I think it was just because of these two teams and the history and
for sure
being cautious. But it was a great experience. It was cool. Hopefully everybody was fine and everything. But
we hope so.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was fun. So NYCFC ends up. New York is blue for once.
Yeah. Oh, and Bruce Arena. Speaking of the World Cup qualifier, he came out and upset a lot of fans because he said he's from Brooklyn and they do not consider New Jersey a part of New York. No way.
Yeah.
So that upset a lot of the Red Bull fans. But guess who came to his defense?
Who?
On Extra Time Radio, the shirt you're wearing, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Extra Time Radio, for the shirts. I have an extra large, doesn't fit, but I have it. Thank you very much. Thanks, Weeby and Gas. The former Metro Stars goalkeeper, former Manchester United, former Everton, now Colorado Rapids, and your men's national team hero, Tim Howard. He came out and said, "Hey, I'm from Jersey. We're not considered part of New York."
Yeah.
So that's it.
I mean, did we really need to get that evidence?
But
I mean, we could just look at a map.
If you're upset, your own most famous former player agrees. Come on.
Yeah, no one.
Let it go.
Is that the concern? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know that that's a concern, but I think Red Bull fans get upset about it.
They don't like to be called, look.
They don't like to be referenced as the New Jersey team.
Yeah.
Because they feel that they are part of the New York metro area.
Do you think there's more Red Bull fans in New York or in New Jersey?
Clearly in New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah, by a long shot.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had conversations with people before, and the numbers, I mean, I certainly don't have data to back that up, but the numbers seem like it's a much higher pull from New Jersey than, and maybe even like Westchester and like, that kind of area than it is from the five boroughs.
We got to get somebody from the Red Bull sales department to give us the
stats. The
stats on the season ticket.
What are the numbers, Joe? What do your demographics do? What do your analytics look like?
Open your books up.
Come on, son. Let me see that Venn diagram. Where the fuck your numbers at?
So that's it. Thank you for listening again for all this in-depth analysis.
Yeah. Check out our YouTube. We're going to be posting some clips from from the video that we shot of this.
Yes.
And it would mean a lot to us if you guys can continue to do the 5 stars and leave a nice review. But also leave some comments on the bottom of the video. Even if you already heard it, check it out. Help us get views. Yeah.
Atlanta.
Oh, we're coming, baby.
We're coming. It's all right. We have more information.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're gonna be putting out the ticket link. We're gonna put out on Thursday.
Right.
Thursday. So
we are a part of the Red Clay Comedy Festival.
Red Clay Comedy
Festival. We told you that
Festival.
before. That's going to be September 28th through the 30th.
Yes. So on Thursday, which you're listening to this on Wednesday, August 30th.
Right.
So tomorrow, we're going to be sending out the ticket link first to our email subscribers. So
that's right. You guys get first stab at it.
Yeah.
It's not even live on their website just yet. It's just for us.
All right. So get on our email list right now. Go to soccercooligans.com and just sign up. There'll be a pop-up and you'll receive an email on Thursday letting you know where you can get tickets for our live podcast in Atlanta for the Red Clay Comedy Festival.
A lot of special guests are going to be there.
That is correct.
I mean, we've got some really, really big special guests lined up. We're hoping to get them confirmed very soon.
That's right.
But just know that we're putting in a lot of work for this event. We need you guys to be a part of it. We need to show the comedy community that the soccer fans want to see comedy-related content, and they want to be a part of a live event. And we need to show the soccer community that MLS is here. And what better fan base to do it with than Atlanta? You guys are averaging 50,000 people at your stadiums. 20,000 go see a practice. We can't get 60,000 to an event, right? I mean, is it really that much?
I mean, shouldn't be that hard.
I mean, come on, we got it. I mean, I think the room holds 100, so I don't know how these tickets are going to go. My idea is that they're going to go very fast. So make sure you get on that email list so that go on our website, get on that email list so you're first to hear about it so you can jump right in.
All right. So make sure you do that, Atlanta United fan. Tell your Atlanta United buddies.
Your brethren.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's going to be great. So there's going to be a lot of fun surprises, and it's going to be a live podcast and with two comedians at a comedy festival. I mean, this is unheard of. This is
a soccer event at a comedy festival.
This has never been done before.
Never been done.
So the fact that
we're either going to crash and burn, or everyone's going to be doing it after this.
But it's going to be a show. So,
buddy.
So make sure you're there to maybe get third-degree burns. From the crashing and burning.
Yeah, and we want to do a Q&A. We want to do a lot. So if you guys have ideas of things you want us to do or people you want us to have there, tweet at your favorite player if you want them there. Let us know. Shoot us an email, soccercooligans@gmail.com. But get on that email list so you can get first dibs, because when the tickets run out, they run out. The venue only holds a very small amount of people.
Exactly. So, okay. So we're giving you that instruction. If you're not there, you really let yourself.
You missed out.
And your family down.
Yep.
So thank you again for listening to another episode. Again, make sure you leave a nice iTunes review.
5 stars and say something nice.
Say something nice. It helps us catch up. We should start a campaign because I've been looking this up, and obviously
let's make this hour and 6 minute segment longer.
Well, we always talking about Men in Blazers and like sort of catching up. Never heard
the
of
old guard.
The old guard. We have 37 reviews currently.
Not bad.
On iTunes, which is not bad. But Men in Blazers has 672.
Come on.
Okay. We have more than 672 listeners.
Dude, if 10% of the people that went to that open practice.
Yeah. At Atlanta.
Left a review, we would be blowing their numbers out.
Yeah. So we're trying to catch up to Men in Blazers.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've been around much longer than we have.
But why can't we get to,
They've done wonderful things. Look, rising tides lift all boats. We don't want people to think we hate them. Also, they've helped cure insomnia for so many people. we don't do that. We actually pump you up. But I mean, they've been able to help so many people.
So we're trying to catch up. So that'd be awesome. So if you have dill, if you haven't left a review, if you have iTunes, some people have Android and they're they're unable to do that. So that's fine. But if you have an Apple phone, you're listening to this on Apple Podcast, just go right there. Go to in the app.
Please.
Just search right there, type the Cooligans, go to our review page and just and the little tab and leave a nice review.
It's not, I feel like we're not asking for a lot here.
It's not. It really isn't.
All right, guys.
So thank you again, everybody. Those are the instructions for this week's episode, and yeah, we'll be back next week with another hot track.
Well, if we haven't told you recently, we love you. Thank you for listening.
We do love you.
The way Nemanja Nikolic looked at me is the way I look at all of you. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Alexis Guerrero.
My name is Christian Polanco.
Together, what are we?
The
Cooligans!